All right, guys, welcome. It is a Saturday night here at TCHLive Dallas. My name is Greg Potter. I am joined to us tonight by Mr. Mike Youngblood down here at TCH Austin. How you doing, Mike?
I just got here in the splendid nick of time, literally a second before this broadcast. It has been a very busy day, so I'm happy to hear your voice, Greg. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, and we are happy to have you here with us, my guy. We got the Saturday final table of the tournament, $365 buy-in, 10K guarantee, single re-entry here at TCH Dallas. First place topping out at $12,434. We're excited to have you here with us, sir. Unfortunately, Ben Kirby could not be here with us tonight, but we are happy to have Mr. Mike Youngblood here in substitution.
Yeah, I hopefully will be here in full form. I'm taking on my girlfriend's dog while she takes a vacation back home to where she's from. So it's kind of hit or miss right now. See if this big guy wants to behave with us or become a star of the show, it appears. So let's let him out the crate here as I'll step away just for a moment. Hey. I'm sorry, guys.
That's just fine, man. Take care of the pup. No worries. We got Nelda here with pocket six, straight out of the gate, under the gun, raising it to 40K with pocket sixes. Ace King with Nate here in the +1, gonna straight up 3-bet it to 125K, getting it started right off for you guys. No slow rolls here at TCH Live. Andy now waking up in the big blind, ace jack offsuit in a tournament setting. This is a premium hand, especially when you are a short stack as Mr. Andy is. I think in my mind, this is a pretty optimal shove or fold spot, and he does elect for the lower variance option and go for the fold, which I think is fine versus an under the gun open and a 3-bet. I think that's the safer route. Nelda here now just with the option of whether to flat call or fold.
It's a tough one here with pocket seven. It's a pretty big chunk for chips back here, at least a fourth of a stack and out of position. So it could be one of those candidates for a stop and go potentially. I guess if maybe you call 85K more because you're looking at a stack to pot ratio that's probably going to be one as you continue, and just a little too much heat for Nelda.
Yeah, I agree, and she does elect on the fold. I do think that's the right play given this, like you said, the stack to pot ratio. I think that's a good fold. A lot of players are looking to get it in with just about any pair, and I think that's a pretty disciplined fold there by Nelda.
Yeah, especially early on. So we've got the payouts here for the fine folks here on Poker Atlas providing that info. So I've been kind of following along with that. And we got a lot of chat pros here in the house. Matt Benjamin, TCH Poker in Dallas, Ed Barrage, say Greg and Mike. Great to work with you, Greg. I've heard you on here. It's certainly been doing well with this. I feel like you keep getting better week to week. So it's nice to share the stage with you, brother, man, dude.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, my man. Yeah, we haven't gotten a chance to work with each other yet. So I'm just excited for the opportunity as you are, my guy. Thanks for joining us out tonight.
All right. So move on to the next hand. What blind? We are at what level at this point?
Let's see. You're on
a little bit different virtually here for us, so we're playing a little bit more of a guessing game at times.
Yeah, I think we were at the 816. No, that's not right. That can't be right. No, that might be right. Actually, 816, I believe, is the current blind level.
And if my eyes don't deceive me, is that Hudson in the box right there? Or is that maybe somebody looks like one of our dealers from TCH that...
No, we got Cooper and Tyler here in the box.
Okay, good deal.
Actually, oh wait, no, in the box. I'm sorry, in the box on the table. Yeah, that is Hudson. Actually, excuse me.
Oh, great friend of mine.
TCH. Yeah.
Yeah, I wondered what happened to him because I was one of the guys I worked with the longest here at TCH Austin, and all of a sudden he wasn't here anymore. I go, what the heck happened to Hudson? And well, I'm glad he's in the TCH streets up there in D-Town. So, all right, next hand here, Greg.
Pocket tens opening up under the gun. I think that's pretty natural open. You're actually looking to, I mean, even though you are deep stacked, in this tournament scenario. You're still looking to get it in with this hand as strong as tens, I think.
Uh-huh.
Andy, short stack here, gonna rip it in.
Yes.
91,000
Oh,
on the
look
button.
at this, Hilda.
Already, we got second hand in. We are already all in with one player. Andy in the one seat on the button, gonna rip it in as a short stack. 91,000 with pocket sevens. I think this is a pretty standard play in my mind.
Yep.
Oh, with Nelda waking up with the aces. I didn't even notice yet.
Yeah.
Waking up with
Maybe I'm a little ahead of you. I think I wondered if
you are. It looks like she's waking up with two aces here in the small blind. Gonna ship it over poker. Now, honestly, in a miserable spot with pocket tens. Does elect on the call.
he's got
Slightly
both players covered
overstacked.
he's got both players covered by a wide margin. It's not. I mean, relative to his chip stack here, it's still going to leave him for it. But like, obviously, don't want to make decisions that way. But like, you can kind of understand the player maybe accepting the variance in this spot. But ace is way out in front.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to fold pocket tens in this scenario. I mean, you are facing a shove and a rejam when you open under the gun, so it's not insane to fold this hand, but it's pretty hard to lay it down. It's pretty hard to lay it down.
Yeah, so you're not folding. You're not folding to Andy like ever, but the the shove makes things way more complicated to try to navigate three ways. And well, we're gonna get ourselves a flop. I'll try not to spoil it here.
See, no help for the tens here or the sevens.
Loading.
Yeah, let's see what we got for the run out and a five in the end. No help. The aces are going to take it down. Uncontested. Going to scoop a massive pot, eliminating Mr. Andy here on the button. Miss Nelda going to take the ladder up with two aces in the hole. You'll love to see it here on the final table of a poker tournament.
And $1,123 is going to be the take home for ninth place. My boy Bridges here is not happy I'm doing this broadcast. I don't know if you can hear him in the background. He wants to be a part of the
happy
show.
About it. Yeah, he says he wanted aces to get cracked in that last hand. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, in his dog poker game every week, like he's been known for overplaying ace king. So like I'm not sure like this guy is the best, but he is very aggro. He's a good boy learning to be a better boy, but he wants attention right now. So.
Sure.
Yep. All right. Well, we got one down and 8 to go on our tournament final table. It's a 10K guaranteed 365 buy-in that, boy, every time I look here on the Saturday, it's getting more and more players in the mix.
Yeah. We've had a pretty big turnout every single week now for this tournament. Usually an absolute minimum of roughly 120 participants. Gotten the first place prize pool up to I think last week we hit just over 13K. So it's been growing steadily ever since. And boy, do we have a hand brewing here now. We got James C here with Queen 10 suited in the hijack. Going to open it up with the min raise here to 32. I think that's fine given his stack size. Nate here going to put in a 3-bet in the small blind, the ace 10 offsuit. He's got a deep stack right now. I think it's fine to start leveraging it now when you've got a very playable hand and you can just often take down the open bets and the blinds pre-flop. So I really like the aggression there.
Yeah, there's playing a big stack in a tournament is so, feast or famine to some degrees. I think there are some players that don't necessarily know when to pick their spots to be advantageous. And there are some that I think just get way too aggro that it's just sort of like, why even have the chips that you earned to begin with if you're going to punt them off? But we talk a lot about punts on our stream, so that's I don't know if we'll see any here tonight, but
we just might, man. You never know. But I do like the 3-bet given that it was an open from later position, pretty wider range you can have there, and it did get the job done even though he had his opponent utterly dominated.
No, for sure. Some chats My boy Hillbilly saying War Eagle. I hear a dog barking. What's up with the sounds of chamber? We're doing this by Zoom. Blakers, One Nation. That's an untrained dog. Yeah, my girlfriend got this pupper like 3 weeks ago. She's been from home to home, and now she's taking a vacation. He's getting the first glimpse of my home. So I could not leave you hanging here, Greg. Well, I was like, we're going to find a way here, buddy. I gave him some CBD treats, and we'll see if we can get him to calm the F down, because it's TCH live time. How could you not be here for it?
How could you not? And I appreciate you being here. And you know what? I'm even more appreciative of having the pup with us. I don't mind it. I don't mind having the pup on.
Yeah, my dog is good and quiet. This boy is a hellhound sometimes, but he's still learning. Pupper. Who's a big pupper? Okay, I will hopefully entertain the crowd with my doggy talk here today, because it is a little bit different than my dude talking voice. That's for sure. All right, next hand is continue on the action. TCH Live. Make sure to bang home that like button. Click subscribe for us.
Please do.
Please. We do not beg you, but we kind of insist.
Yeah, we beg a little.
I mean, super chat. Yeah, I don't like the word. I just, but yeah, I guess in some terms you could consider that a beg here, but it's for a good cause. Not quite Uncle Jerry's Kids, but doesn't there used to be like a telethon every Memorial Day weekend or some that, I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining things for the chat.
Something like that, yeah. Well, we got Nelda open up the pocket kings. You're getting called by King 10 suited. Absolutely dominated. No help to the Cap 10 poker here in the button. Nelda probably going to see little resistance whenever she continues on this flop, which she elects to do.
You want some beer, buddy?
We do see a call here by Cap 10 poker. Oh, a raise. Excuse me. My goodness, he's going to raise it up with King 10 suited. He knows that this flop is going to hit his range a lot harder than Nelda's, starting to put pressure on any sort of ace king X holding that Nelda may have here. But a Nelda says, no, sir, that's not what I've got, and elects to rip it in and take down the extra pot builder from Cap 10 poker there. Takes it down pretty uncontested, I think. And we are going to move on to the next hand.
Dropping like the Mercury did in February here for us, is started off with like 600,000 in chips and has been whittled down. And Nelda on the rise.
On the rise. She is a regular tournament player here at TCH Dallas. I've played many tournaments with her myself. Usually a pretty deep run contender most of the time. So it's good to see here finally banking a final table here at TCH in Dallas.
It's good to see. As another fine afternoon. I did 2 softball games today, and then gathered this pup and exercised them all to death, and then came here. It's like, let's go. Come on, third broadcast of the day. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. And Nelda's making it happen here in the +2, waking up another premium hand here. Ace Jack offsuit, gonna raise it up in the +2. Continuing that momentum. Cap 10 poker elects to flat fold the he ships it all in with the suited ace. I was going to say that would be kind of a crazy play if he elected on a fold there with the A7 suited, but he does elect to rip it in, do his best to get it in as good as possible.
Nelda has her completely crushed, but this is not.
It's a rough spot.
In this spot for this percentage of chips is not a very snap call, but
absolutely,
especially from this position too, where it represents a lot more strong hands with so many that you have to feel like you pulled out from behind. It's okay, buddy. It's okay.
It's okay. She might call. We don't know.
Yeah, Bridges is very upset with this decision right now. He cannot believe A7 shove here, and understandable.
Yeah, this, like you said, this is a pretty rough spot for Ace Jack offsuit to be in. I think if it was suited, it'd be a pretty easy call. Even if you are dominated, you still have some outs, some equity long term. But given that you are one of the bigger stacks of the table now, I think Ace Jack offsuit is going to end up being a call here. But I don't blame Nelda even for the slightest for considering the position that she's in. This is not the greatest hand to have out of position, as you said. and its offsuitedness definitely doesn't lend to its call ability. So I don't mind the tank here by any means,
Oh
especially when
yeah.
you're on the final table. I think it could honestly go either way. I mean, given that Cap 10 poker is relatively short stack, I think it's okay to call the majority of the time, thinking the Captain Poker is probably going to get it in a little bit lighter than normal.
Mhm.
But it's definitely not an easy decision to make by any means.
Yeah, no kidding. It's kind of at that break-even point because are you sitting there like, is ace 10 really shoving? Am I up against
Right.
queens or kings, blocking aces and jacks? I mean, like my best hope potentially is, maybe I'm flipping here with a smaller pair. And some players don't
What
like
I
to
was
take
thinking.
that kind of level of variance early in a final table because it is just so wishy-washy in this spot to sit there and feel like ace queen feels like a snap. Everything below it just feels very so this might work out here for Cap 10 poker.
Yeah, we might just see a fold here. But yeah, I do agree. Actually, most of the time when you're in this spot, you are flipping sort of at best. Like, yeah, like you said, is ace 10 really shoving here? Not often, not to a +2 open, but she does elect on a fold. And we do see that coming out in full force. Captain going to pick up a little bit of the chips that he lost in the past couple of hands.
Now, I mean, Greg, you're playing out in these streets often, is that right?
Yes.
Do you like kind of open up your hand ranges a little bit more in some of these spots because you realize the player pool might just be a little more bonkers, or is it still kind of
Absolutely.
a variance test because it's like, okay, maybe I'm not really better than a 60-40 at this.
Yeah, maybe in these tournaments specifically, I do like to, especially if I was in a final table scenario, I would probably open up my range a little bit. And I, honestly, with ace jack offsuit, I think even though it would still be a tough decision, I think I'd find a call here a lot, just because the field could be shoving with lighter hands.
Right.
It's like it's very possible that in my mind, honestly, if your opponent happened to wake up with ace king or ace queen there, so be it. But most of the time, at worst, in my mind, you're flipping. But a lot of people are looking to get it in with a lot of suited aces and king high hands as well that you completely dominate. So I would probably find a call there, but I don't think it's crazy to fold if you don't know the tendencies of the player population so much.
Uh,
Yeah,
oh
but
yeah, I agree. That's.
yeah, it's a close spot for sure.
I wonder what the solvers would say. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the rule of all the
definitely
solvers,
close.
right? That's the supreme answer to everything. Being a little
Yep.
sarcastic, but no.
And Jane and Victor here going to shove with the 9-7 suited here in the small blind, going to try and take down the big blind, and it's Annie. Successfully does so. And the aggression here on the final table at TCH Dallas does pay off just a little bit. I do like the shove here with 9-7 suited. I think that's a great play.
So looks like we've got a color up and a. Are they going to do a break here, or is it just?
I think they're just doing a color up and yeah, just mainly a color up and just to let the tournament sort of get itself righted here. While we've got just a moment, I wanted to go ahead and plug our Bad Beat jackpot that we now offer between all 4 Texas Card House locations. We got a prize pool of roughly $45,000 for you guys, quad 10s or better, being beaten by a straight flush. No quads over quads. Both hole cards do have to play, but that does qualify at any Texas Card House location, one of the 4 here in the state of Texas. So come out and play the 2 card games and get your chance at a $45,000 payout.
I always get questions for people doing bomb pots or like, oh, does that count? And I'm like, do you really think we would put one up for the bomb pots the way some of those hands go?
Some of them go nuts, man. But yeah, unfortunately, the bomb pots also do not qualify. It is only 2 card Texas Hold'em that qualifies for the Bad B jackpot.
It's all right. Down to our finally, we had our first elimination, and blind's now 10K, 20K. We'll see if this pushes the action a little bit more.
And we got Nate here with the Jack 7 suited. It probably will. It definitely puts some pressure on the lower stacks, some ICM implications definitely in play here now. Some players only with 4 to 6 big blinds. Definitely going to start trying to get it in a little bit lighter. Nate going to take the aggressive route here in the +1. Open up. Jack 7 suited gets 10-9 suited to fold. And James C in the small blind elects on just a flat call with the ace 10 offsuit. I think in my mind, this is a shove or fold scenario, but we are going to go ahead and see a flop. Ooh, no help to
Yeah.
either player.
And this is what's tricky about, playing hands like this, especially out of position, is that, I mean, even if you wanted to consider just open ripping, it just opens your opponent here to totally take over the spots and also outdraw you. As there is on the turn,
exactly.
a jack.
A jack on the turn gives Nate the best hand, and he's going to go ahead and bet it. James now, very, very unfortunate decision here. He has to put his opponent on absolutely nothing to make this call, and is unfortunately sitting with just a gutter ball and ace high. Probably going to fold it the majority of the time, but you're right. In a lot of instances, and whenever you do see a flop like this, it gives your opponent too many opportunities to suck out on you in ways that you wouldn't expect. And we saw that happen in lifetime just there.
Yeah, and I mean, he does turn, I guess, technically an open ender, so king would have made him a nuts 8, but it's also like when you get a hand like that and you're so whittled down, like you can't really even afford to draw. And there's no really very few situations where you're like, okay, I maybe have the best hand here that I can go on with it. And as our chat's saying hello, Elizu Oliveira says, hey, say hello to Brazil. Hello, Brazil. Big fans of the show in Brazil.
Here we got Humberto opening up with the pocket sevens. Berto, a regular player here at TCH in the 2-5 streets. I've played with him a lot. Very solid player. Never seen him in a tournament thus far. I think this is, in fact, his first tournament appearance. Going to come in here with a pretty middling stack, opening it up and taking down the blinds with pocket sevens.
Matt Benjamin, my thoughts exactly. Pressure the mid stacks. Don't waste time on the short stacks, particularly if you double them up. Yeah, it's always that little bit of give and take that exists. I mean, that is always like by the book, optimal tournament strategy, but it's it's also that coalescence of like those situations being allowed to happen. Sometimes you're not in a position to be able to raise a mid stacks blind, or you've got a maniac to your left, or it's tournaments take a different skill from cash games that are not necessarily spoken and accounted for. And I think the best recognize, okay, who to pick on and who the hell to stay away from.
Right. And unfortunately, I think Captain Poker wishes he can stay away from Gray here with 2 kings in the +2. Captain Poker opening up ace-5 offsuit under the gun, or excuse me, suited under the gun. I think in a tournament final table scenario, this could honestly go into your folding range a lot. This is whenever you're looking to get it in a tournament when the stacks are starting to get this thin, you kind of want to focus on high card hands. And ace-5, unfortunately, does not hold up to a lot of pressure. And we are seeing it right here. Gray 3-betting with the kings, and Captain Poker going to go ahead and make the call out of position, drawing to clubs or exactly an ace.
I like it a little bit more 5 or 6-handed, but 8-handed, it's a little wide.
It's a little wide. I agree, but we are seeing a flop here. Unfortunately, no help to Cap 10. Going to be check back fold here, unfortunately. Sometimes you do need to see a flop here in these final table scenarios, but I think ace-5 could probably go into the muck the majority of the time in this exact instance.
Yeah, and I mean, we've all been there that it's, under the gun and under the gun +1 are such a two.
I think we lost you there for a moment, sir. Hopefully we'll get Mike back here in just a moment. Michael Nolan in the chat. Watching this makes me want to make the 30-minute drive. Make the 30-minute drive, my guy. We are here off of the intersection of I-35 and 635 here in Dallas on Harry Hines Boulevard. Please come out and see us. Mike Blunt, Young Blunt, going to make a quick reboot on his PC to get back in the chat with us. Gray with Queen Jack suited in the +1, going to go ahead and open it up. I think this is a pretty natural open. And we get a flat call here in the big blind. Ace-6 offsuit, actually a favorite in this exact instance. Going to see if, whoa, my God, just flops the effective nuts against Gray, who has a club draw here. And Gray is going to c-bet 50K. Cap 10 poker ships it all in, wasting no time whatsoever. And Gray going to call it off. Cap 10 poker is short stacked. And wow, we're seeing the clubs on the end, I'm sure. Wow, my goodness. Cap 10 poker going to take down a pot. The clubs get there even though they were drawing absolutely stone dead. You guys say there is an action here at TCH in Dallas, and you are wrong. We're seeing it right here on the final table of the 10K guarantee on Saturday night. Going to see a nice chip up there for Cap 10 poker. His stack definitely needed it a little bit. Every single chip helps in these situations on the final table. You are playing for all of it. We've got 434 up top, and everybody's going to be fighting for every single last dollar, as we saw right there. Not a crazy call there with the club draw, queen high club draw on the flop for only 2x more your bet. Gray, once again, picking up pocket sixes under the gun. Very close spot. You are with a middling stack right now, so it's not crazy to fold this. And in fact, he does elect on a raise to 50K with pocket sixes. Victor F now in the +1, waking up ace queen suited here. Given that there's an under the gun open, you can kind of go any of a couple of ways, but he elects on the all in, straight up ripping it for 540K. We got Nate on the button, ace 5 suited, debating here if his ace suited can be good sometimes. And in fact, in this position, I think exactly in this position, I think this is a fold a lot of the time, but I don't blame him whatsoever for tanking here. Whenever you are a big stack and you are outstacking the two opponents in front of you. Wow, and he does elect to call the 540K, looking to stack two players. And my God, we got Cap 10 poker 10-9 suited, does elect on the fold. I think that's a good decision. And we are going heads up to a flop. Nate here with the ace 5 suited, absolutely dominated in this instance. Gonna see 5 cards. Let's see what we got. We've got queen on the board, not looking good for ace 5 suited, and no help on the turns. Going to give ace queen the check mark. Going to see a pure double up here for Victor F. Nate, unfortunately, taking the bad end there of the hand and is going to double up Mr. Victor, who I'm sure is happy to see the call by the ace 5 suited there. Yeah, unfortunately, facing an under the gun open, a under the gun +1 ship. I think on the button you can let ace 5 suited go, but it's not crazy to call there. Your opponent could still be shoving with a lot of king queen suited, etc. Queen jack suited, even if they're a little short stack. So it's not an insane call by any means. It is unfortunate that he just happened to be absolutely dominated in this instance. And I agree. I think I agree with the chat. The fold by the sixes is a great fold. You do have what is likely the best hand right now. Your opponent's going to be looking to get it in with a lot of ace X hands, ace X high hands, but it doesn't hold up too well even after seeing 5 cards post flop, especially when you face a 3-bet from under the gun, a ship, or rather, excuse me, a shove from under the gun, a call on the button. Your sixes are not likely to be holding up too often. Nelda, no Not slowing down at all. A7 suited here in the hijack. Going to open it up. Nate shipping it in. Queen Jack suited here in the cutoff. Gray waking up with 2 kings here in the big blind. Loving life. Wondering how he can get all the money in right now. And he does, in fact, elect on a shove here, which I like the most. Nelda now in a pretty rough spot. I think given this exact action, A7 suited is a fold, as she elects to do. Great fold there. We are going to see a run out. Kings way ahead here on the Saturday night tournament stream. And stays very far ahead here. Queen Jack running nearly stone dead on the end. Wow, does pick up a queen there on the end just for the extra needle. And Gray going to go ahead and eliminate Mr. Nate here in C3, taking yet another chip up. And I believe is now the chip lead here on the final table. We have 7 players left on the 10K guaranteed, 365 buy-in, single re-entry, Saturday weekly tournament here at TCHLive in Dallas. 7 of us left. If you guys haven't already, do us a favor. Do me a favor. Greg here, do me a favor and hit the like button. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. A favor to us costs you almost nothing, and we appreciate it more than we can tell you here at TCHLive in Dallas. And if you like the action you're seeing, please do that. James C. under the gun, just going to ship it in short stack with the ace-9 offsuit for 115K. I think this is fine. Under the gun is maybe a little early to do it with a hand that is as vulnerable as this. But given that you are so short stacked, you're not going to get many more opportunities than this to ship it in. And wow, Victor waking up with kings 2 hands in a row. My man, how good do you run? How good do you run? And wow, a 9 on the flop is definitely going to give ace-9 some outs. No help on the turn for James. Victor going to take it down with back-to-back pocket kings here on the final table of the 10K guarantee tournament here at TCHLive. And it sounds like we got Mike Youngblood back with us.
Yeah, no kidding. I can only dream of the situation, that spot. So
yeah, my goodness,
Lord,
back-to-back kings.
This just says, all right, Mike missed the first, so here's the second. And what do we got, like 6 players left now?
We got 6 left now. You missed a lot, my guy.
Good gosh. I get the cord pulled out from my laptop. Everything goes to havoc. I'm trying to get back online. And good golly, just like that, we're down to 6. We'll keep on keeping on here, buddy.
Keep on keeping on. That's all we can ask for of you, my guy.
All right, try to reload the chat here, as I'm sure they're absolutely going wild as well. Make sure to bang home that like button for us. Click subscribe. Another fantastic night of a TCHLive D-Town Dallas edition. Join us for the monthly main event on our stream tomorrow in Austin. Whereas, happy to be back in the mix. And Bridges is excited too. He can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm sure he sounds like it.
Good God.
We got an open from Cap 10 poker here in the hijack Jack 10 suitor. I think this is fine. A flat call from the 8s here on the button. I think this is fine. Given that your opponent is short stacked, it's not crazy to ship it in for his stack size, but their opponent's behind, so it's not crazy to see a flop here. And wow, what an action flop we've got here in my mind. Spade draw for Captain Poker, a fairly strong pair for Gray here on the button with the spade blocker.
Action in my mind too here, buddy. Not just yours.
Yeah.
It's everybody's mind here as overs.
Wow.
And flush draw shove.
Shove from the jack high flush draw, straight draw as well. Got a gutter. Unfortunately, Gray's got 2 of his outs to the gutter ball. Gray's actually in a pretty miserable spot here. His pair is going to be good a lot of the time, facing a check raise in this exact instance. But it's not crazy to go either way. You do cover your opponent, and you are actually behind in this instance, given that your opponent could have overcards to the board and have pair outs like Captain Poker does in this exact instance. But man, what a rough spot to be in. You block a lot of your opponent's bluffs.
Yeah, and it's also, but I mean, how many times? I mean, like the best case scenarios tend to be some maybe sevens that may some 7x combo that sometimes is just trying to blast off hands that maybe aren't connected as much to this board. And I think also an implication now here with like 6 players to go
Right.
is it like, is this the spot you want to make a stand on here for 180K more, which if he's wrong would leave him about what, like just under 400K with blinds 10-20.
Yep, I think so. And yeah, I kind of agree with you. It's like, is this the time you want to play for it? Is this the time? And wow, Gray does elect on a fold here. Has the best hand right now, but was actually drawing pretty thin. So I do like the decision to go ahead and fold. I think that's great in terms of chip and stack preservation. That is sometimes, unfortunately, the way you need to go here in these tournaments.
Yeah, because I mean, you can recognize some spots that feel kind of funky, and if you probably have felt like you've looked around this table and have seen some redonkulous and crazy things, like, you know, my moment may come here. Maybe pocket ace is just not the A+ Tom to try to maybe ladder up and take some of the variance.
Right. And when your opponent does check raise there, even though he only had jack high at the moment, that's a pretty strong line to take. So I do actually like Captain's Poker decision to check raise instead. That board is going to be better for the preflop caller a lot in this instance. So I thought it was a good move by him.
Matt Benjamin asking, what time does the Austin stream start tomorrow? We really never know. Like when we get to the tournament final table, it's to be determined. And sometimes we'll make a guesstimate, and it'll be maybe a half hour before or an hour after our guesstimate. So best guess maybe 7:30, 8, depending on the player pool tomorrow. So be on the lookout. Now that's why I just say, hey, hit subscribe, ring the bell. That way you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, and you'll see that notification right up on your phone. All right, we had an inconsequential.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to keep up with the poker action.
No kidding, because 263 live viewers for our special Zoom cast, and my girlfriend's dog trying to get as much attention as possible. This is a balancing act like no other. The audience I love are the pupper that I'm beginning to like, but just wants playtime. He just wants to put nobody.
He wants the action.
No kidding. He's really up in arms about that 8's call. He wanted to see a turn on a river, and he cannot believe that we did not get traded for that. So very perceptive dude. I'm gonna take a little breather here. Help this dude.
Jerry R here on the button, playing his button nice and aggressively, which I like a lot in these final table scenarios. It is pretty often, especially when there are two middling stacks on your left, it's good to play your button as aggressively as you can. However, Captain Poker flopping open-ended here. Jerry going to c-bet range with a lot of backdoor equity. Picks up a little bit on the end. Captain Poker now with the best pair. No real improvement to his exact hand. Now with showdown value, going to go check on the turn. And a deuce on the end. Complete brick gives Cap 10 the check mark. Jerry R once again going to continue the aggression here on the river in position. A pair of 10s is in a pretty rough spot in this exact instance. Yeah, this is pretty bad. Even though you do have the best hand here, you've only got third pair. But how often do you think the button is going to take a stab out of this with air, given that they have the range advantage, et cetera, here on this board? Wow, makes a call with the pocket 10. That is not an easy call to make. In fact, shows it down first was so confident in his hand that he showed it first. What a call there on the end. Great call there by Captain Poker.
It's not an easy one here, and pro level call there in that spot. Well, I didn't get to see quite the hand develop, but I did see the man press the call button, which was impressive enough.
Yeah. When you're playing for your tournament life there on the final table of a tournament like this, with the ladders up being more and more important as we go along, I think that is a very impressive call there. Great call by Captain Poker. Gray here folds the queen nine suited under the gun. I think that's a good disciplined fold. Victor with an ace high hand. Now the chip lead at the table. He could open this up to put a lot of pressure on the middling stacks, but does elect on a fold, which I like a lot. Your hand may be suited, could arguably be an open, but does elect on a fold. Bunch of rags all the way around. Going to give Berto with the 8 high here in the big blind, the walk. Going to pick up those extra blinds. I don't think he's unhappy to see that by any means.
Gets the old Pantera walk in the big. So, and looks like we still remain at 10K, 20K with the 20K big blind. Annie, is quite a battle. And everybody who made the final table getting at least 4 figures today. And one is going to be up for next elimination once we knock out 6th place is $2,316 again, $12,434 for first, second, $7,684. So get down here to our final 2. We're pretty bankroll improving numbers.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And Victor F, you're under the gun, gonna open it up pretty big to queen 10 offsuit. Wants to get a lot of folds with this hand, I think. Captain Poker, pretty close decision with the 9-8 suited here on the button in position, but you are facing the big stack. One of the ones that can potentially take you out of the tournament if the flop goes bad. Gonna go ahead and make the call here. Heads up to the flop.
And on the button, gonna call this here.
Yep. Definitely a hard hand to fold, given the action. And queen 10 gonna way outflop Captain Poker, only drawing to backdoor equity. Victor now, I think, with a very easy continuation, does elect on going for some value here for his queen.
Small bet for a gutter ball, I guess, but
he does elect on a call. It gets Captain Poker in there. Ace on the turn helps nobody.
Victor F
gives Victor some backdoor. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the same thing you are. My apologies, Greg. Trying to stomp right all over you here. Yeah, 10 of diamonds also with a flush draw.
That's all right, my guy.
There we go.
And Captain going to go ahead and fold.
Now, it could have presented a really interesting situation if that was more like an offsuit ace.
Yeah, I agree.
That may have been so much more favorable, but it's also going to be a situation for Victor. Like, what could he have floated, called me on the button, floated that flop, and then all of a sudden hits? So it's right. A good bet in there where I think a lot of players may elect just for the check button. And no, I like the turn bet. It's not the diamond gives them a little bit of extra equity to just sort of feel like, okay, maybe I can bet, but a lot of players might kind of sit there, knuckle up, and cringe a little bit.
Absolutely. And if you are dominated in terms of, like, say, the button called with queen jack or something, it does put a lot of pressure on those kind of hands. So I do like the decision to bet there. You do pick up equity on the turn with the diamond draw. And like you said, if it had been an offsuit ace, that would have been a very interesting card for maybe Captain Poker to maybe rep, say he's on a diamond draw, spiked an ace on the turn, etc.
Derek, to your Whitener loyal fans, longtime fans checking on him with the old 420 Roman numerals, our friend Alec Torelli said chips. Daniar Saparov, do you guys stream all the final tables? Just on weekends, it is Saturday and Sundays generally. During the week, we will rarely ever, unless it's a big final table or something like that from one of our main events. But
yeah, we got the weekly Saturday tournament here at TCH in Dallas. Got the weekly Sunday tournament final table there in Austin, and we do the tournaments on the weekends. Cash games on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday and Wednesday here in Dallas, Monday and Thursday there in Austin.
they let us take Friday off, which is
nice.
One day off for the channel. That's for all of our fans to be able to go out and enjoy the world and get away from their screens. We hope you use that Friday wisely and come and play at a Texas Card House instead.
Absolutely. And Nelda here with the ace-6 suited, going to open it up under the gun. Can kind of go, this is a close spot, given that you are a middling stack. You do want to get in there with some ace-high hands and hope that you can get some action to help increase your stack. Wow, 8, 8, 6. Nelda's got to be feeling pretty good on this flop. Backdoor spades and top 2 pair with the best kicker. Jerry with
yeah, it's a pretty wide defend there by Jerry with the hand that we call the 9 Triz in the Austin streets. So
yeah.
Whew. I mean, there's probably even a deeper methodology to sometimes defending a little bit on the spicier side, just because for me, it's all about if a player is just aggressive for the sake of aggressive, right? Like if I perceive them to not have a huge raise frequency pre, like there's plenty of hands that I'm just going to let go of versus I'm also trying to put out there, like if you just try to raise my blind in late position or mid position, this happens repeatedly. Like I'm going to have to go untangle in the streets. And I don't know if that was the case for Jerry.
Yeah, you got to get in there sometimes if people are opening up too wide, especially if you think you've got an edge on the player. Captain Poker waking up again with a pretty big hand here. Ace Queen offsuit, going to raise it up. Nelda in the big blind, very defensible hand. Ace 10 off, unfortunately, very dominated in this exact instant. Does elect on the call. Coming along here. No help to either player, really. Captain Poker, though, very natural C bet. Given this exact board, I think it's going to hit your big blind callers a lot more than it is your under the gun opens. So I think it's fine for Nelda to make a flat call here, float one time with a lot of backdoor equity. Spikes a queen on the end for cap 10. Gonna pick up the check mark. Nelda now checking it over. Captain Poker just wondering how he can get the money in the middle with a very similar stack, top pair, top kicker here versus Nelda.
Yeah, and I think probably for Nelda, having the ace of clubs is bad on this spot.
It's a bad spot. Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, you're holding any potential bluff hunts that you think your opponent may have, and just an easy step away and pretty big turn shove, but
it's not crazy in my mind.
Right.
Honestly, it's not too crazy. I mean, if you had a strong club draw in this exact instance, I think an overbet shove there on the turn is actually, especially when you can rep the queen, is actually a really, really strong play. But given the fact that you had top, maybe you could try and squeak out a little bit more value from your opponents who might be dominated. But I don't fault the play at all.
Yeah, and there are some spots too where if you put on your opponent as very inclined to try to make big bluff catches too, like polarizing that spot might get you looked up by some 9Xs or,
sure,
you know, heavens and Betsy, you find yourself against a lower flush draw or some kind of queen jack hand that might float there in that spot. So it's, you know, there's always a time for it. And thankfully for us as commentators, we get to decide when that is, right? We're the ultimate voice of truth here, Greg.
We get to see the easy decisions, or rather we get to make easy decisions based on what we see.
That's why we call the experts and why we call them the chat pros. So if you want to join us along here with us and the other chat pros, Chat Pro City or TCH Live Tournament Final Table. Mike Youngblood, Greg Potter.
The
Good to be on
GP.
here with you, buddy. I had a fun weekend last year with Ben, so trying to just kind of keep mashing up that Dallas Austin scene. So get the best of both worlds for our fans.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool that we are in a day and age where we can pretty easily, conveniently do things like this. Jerry R gonna raise it
Until they
up.
replace us, right?
Right, until work hand, you never know.
Yep.
Wow, Humberto waking up, Ace King gonna ship it over a bet and a flat call, gonna get two very easy folds and gonna take it down immediately. Not the worst result with Ace King offsuit there. You always hate to see when players get sucked out on when they got Ace King high, the best ace high hand pre-flop.
Yeah, it is.
So not the worst result by any means. Humberto picking it up.
Yeah, and Ace King becomes kind of so easy to play in a tournament sense is that you're just like, okay,
Yeah.
well, we're at how many bigs? Like 20 bigs or 25 bigs, just like shove. And like a lot of the time, it just kind of works out that way. Like it's,
Yep.
Whereas D stack, there's just so many, cash games. It just becomes, such a more complicated street to street adventure. Where all tournament final table, it's just flex your muscles and rip it in there, sir.
Yep. Shove and stop thinking about it.
That's what she said. Oh boy,
Berto gonna raise it
canceled.
up. Here we go. We got some blind battles. We're getting canceled. Yeah.
Trash versus
and
trash.
A flat call here by Gray. Not a crazy flat call facing a small blind opened. I agree. And wow, both players kind of flopping a bunch of nothing for the most part. We got a gutter. No, excuse me. We got backdoor equity for Gray. Humberto, the best hand right now, drawing to backdoor diamonds and a king, even a 6. Gray now in a pretty rough spot with the 10-9 offsuit, does elect to let it go. And Humberto going to take it down with raw aggression here on a paired board. I like it.
Yeah, and so many blind versus blind spots. Again, what probably things you can run through the sim and run through the solver and those kind of spots. And it's just so often you're up against random hands that completely whiff on boards that either you taking the lead or playing in position just so often becomes the path of least resistance against players. That's just like, I don't want it that much for the pot size, but I have many of times in tournaments that are played on computers against other players through the interwebs, have punted there. So trying to be as vague as possible. Okay, Jerry going to open up here to 75K under the gun, king, queen. Always a gross feeling, but 6-handed, definitely sound raise as Victor with computer hands. There's no way.
Yeah. Yep, I think so. Yeah, it's kind of rough to open up king, queen offsuit under the gun in a final table scenario. But like you said, given that we are 6-handed at the moment, it's pretty mandatory open in my mind. But you really hate when you get shoved on with that hand.
8-handed, it feels gross. 7-handed, you're like, I think we're in business here. And 6-handed, it's like, if I don't open, I'm a gigantic net. And then it's like I have that kind of same complication with maybe like king jack or king 10, like of the unsuited variety up front. Just as like, I want to puke, but I feel like I have to fold in some spots. I'm just trying not to be accused of nit in the world, you know, Greg? Like I just try to keep a good solid face, keep my nit profile down as much as possible. My nitquity, as you might say. Maybe that's a new term we could birth out of us Saturday night. Nitquity.
I get you.
Look at this. Captain 10.
I like that one. I like it.
Victor with ace queen. Here we go, Greg.
Shipping it in and Captain Poker. Wow, Alexa on a fold. In my mind, honestly, I mean, you're flipping. You got to win some flips to win poker tournaments. And you're flipping so often there whenever you face a jam from the big stack.
Wow.
That it's not crazy to call. It's not crazy to fold. I think that was a very, very close spot there with the pocket sevens.
I'm replaying the action right now as open to 75 and okay, then 1.4 million for the entire. Oh yeah, that's
It's pretty gross.
that's iffy. I guess when you have bigger pay jumps, those become more extenuated decisions, which kind of plays a little bit into it.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
agree.
People talking about fishing here. Jeff Warren says I was fishing Lake St. Clair today and only caught bass. Matt Benjamin, a bad day fishing, still better than a good day at work. Amen.
Amen. And if you say a bad day of fishing's catching a bunch of bass, I like frying up some bass. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. Jeff also saying the walleye are better than the bass here usually. I mean, yeah, if you're up north,
That's fair.
oh my God, like walleye's fantastic. I mean, it's what you're in for. Do you want to go fish and have fun, or do you want to go eat? There's a lot of different ways you can find the bright side of life. Blind versus blind hand, and like we mentioned before, whoever just decides to breathe on these generally gets to be the benefactor. And no, they're right there with 5 high and just blasting out of position, small blind, and we'll take it down.
Which I like it a lot. I think that was very well played.
And carry on here. 300 plus live viewers hit the like button for us. It's just like it's
Thank
your
you
way
guys
of
for
it's like your
tuning in.
ticket to the show is hitting the like. It's like, all right, my general admission, got my seats, I've got my beer, perhaps other things that make you feel good inside. And of course, I mean candy, right? All right.
Of course.
Trying to be comic relief out here, Greg. Sometimes we'll swing and miss. What's up, Big Bridges?
Now to here in the small blind Jack 9 offsuit does elect on the limp to call, which I like a lot. You still got to get in there with a hand like this, but it's not crazy to raise. Starting to put pressure on your opponent. Wow, what a flop for the 7-4 suited, picking up a spade draw. Gonna elect on a bet here, which I like. Nelda, pretty nasty situation. But susses out that her Jack 9 might be good. Elects to raise it up to 100K, gets called by the 7-4. No help on the turn. Jack high, now the best hand. Wow, what an interesting spot. Does Nelda continue here, you think?
Oh, let's take a look here. Yeah, it's such a blank turn card that if she wants to kind of continue telling the story here, there is probably 2 methods. If you perceive to maybe be up against a straight draw or some kind of 8x, you can take a check back, maybe saying like, okay, never mind, I've got the positions flipped around as wow, check raising and then
checking.
Yeah, that's
wow.
That is a goofy line to try to attack some weakness, but
yeah, we saw Captain Poker even kind of react strangely. He was like, huh, check raise and then check on the turn. Nelda now, Jack high with the check mark. Going to go ahead and take the aggressive line. And I think it is going to get the job done here in the end. I actually, on the turn, I think would have been a really interesting spot to go ahead and ship it in with a 1.2x-ish pot size bet, taking the polarized line. But really, you're only getting a lot of hands to fold that you already have dominated to begin with, and only getting it in good versus a lot of flush draws, and even then you're not really a favorite. So very interesting line that we saw there on the end, but now they're going to go ahead and take it down with just the Jack 9 offsuit.
Raising for value, clearly.
Clear raise.
All right, a lot of Nelda fans, a legend of Nelda. Alex Aurelius at your dog. No, it's my girlfriend's dog visiting here for the first time. I tried to separate mine and his, and then I think he was just getting lonely and wanted to play with Dunk. So it's like they've been a little bit less barky since they've gotten to enjoy playtime. So dog update for those interested. which I believe is at least 90% of our audience. It's what it's tested out at Greg, where we've focus grouped this. And that's why I'm broke for the most part. Just trying to find useless information. So we'll get a handful in pre as nice night of Zoom cast. Greg Potter, Mike Gimlet joining the dude talking. Greg, have you gotten a moniker here from the chat? The dude analyzing, the dude existing. I don't know. I feel like somebody should be on that.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any sort of name just yet.
It'll come here, man.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. But the chat, I'm sure, will think of something very creative that I am not capable
Greg,
of.
Dab up. You know. Okay. We're gonna workshop this here, run it by the focus groups, and we're gonna market your next title.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
That's the dude
happy
talking
to take
guarantee.
Victor F here, perfect score, pocket tens under the gun, gonna open it up here. Very natural open, I think, given the big stack. I think you can open this a lot. You're not afraid of jams by any means. Gray, the only one left in the big blind, Lex on a fold, and we're going to see him take it down pre-flop. Chipping up even more as the chip leader. We love to see it.
Hey, boys. All right, Tez. No, I was just talking to the chat pros. Never mind. Again, we've got our WPT Steps 2 in Austin and monthly final table later on. 5-10 on Monday in Austin, and then at the Zonkers was 10, 25, 50 or so on Tuesday nights. Wednesdays, wild card editions, what I call it. Generally 2-5, but you're seeing Big O, Pop Limit Omaha, the sky's the limit on Wednesdays, and our boy Aaron McAvoy hosting the Thursday show for a 2-5. Again, if you want to get on
we got Jerry.
Okay, we got a hand though. I'm sorry. Couple of ladies.
No, it's fine. Couple of ladies here in the hijack for Mrs. Nelda. Jerry R going to open it up with the wheel ace under the gun. This is the danger of opening up a weaker ace here under the gun. When you get jammed on, you're in a pretty rough spot. Nelda obviously going to ship it in with two ladies. Jerry R snap folds and Nelda going to take it down pre-flop. Not the result you always want to see, but you're still happy to chip up.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, it's more acceptable, I think, 6-handed versus like 8 or 9-handed, where that kind of open just gets a little punty.
Right.
It's so
yeah.
It very makes your decisions kind of pre-flop to be a lot easier, because it's just like, okay, I'm shoved on, like, am I really up against King Jack or King 10 here? Like, no, you could just get out. But it's one of those gross feelings of opening under the gun. And another tricky one. This is tricky under the gun hand night on a TCH Live.
Apparently so. King Queen offsuit for Nelda, not slowing down even a little bit. Now with a pretty reasonable stack, gonna open it up here, as I think is mandatory in this spot. Only Jerry here with an even playable hand. Pre-flop, gonna elect on a call in the big blind. Heads up to a flop. Very live cards in both players' hands. Wow. And that might see the end of Jerry. Elects to ship it already.
Jerry. I am not chanting Jerry's name here in this spot.
Oh, no.
Oh, never. Well, actually, he's not totally. I think that king might have been a burn card. So we've got a reflop.
I think
king
so.
King Jack. So he's not. Okay.
No, he's hurting here a little bit. Nelda hasn't snap called yet, but is thinking over. I don't think she can fold by any means. Kind of in a rough spot, though, when you do get shipped on, donked into on this flop, you're not loving it. You do lose to quite a lot of hands, but you do have relevant straight blockers. So I think that the most of the time, this is going to tilt you towards a call, and she does. Running it out. Jack 7 versus King Queen. Here we go. Ace on the turn, no help. And a 9 on the end is going to give Nelda The chip up plus 425K, running good here at the final table. Gonna ladder up one more spot.
And I mean, outside of that pretty spicy Jack 9 race, I think running good and playing good. So the perfect combo is now down to 5. As that is the end for Jeff. Is curious spot to kind of rip in on. Like it's a kind of a protective blocking shove, I guess.
I think so.
Just maybe sometimes you can get queens or 10s to full. I mean, like you want to be getting called by 10s in that spot, but it is, one of those spots where maybe you play a tournament 10 hours and you rethink it after the fact. You go, maybe I could have done that differently, but tough way to go out in a tournament, but at least for going out aggressive.
Yep. If you're going to go down, you may as well go down shooting, right?
Yes. Go down swinging, go down, never be looking at strike 3. It's always, sorry, I just did 2 softball games, so I'm getting my cliches kind of crossed.
That's fine.
No, you always got to be covered second. It's just like, okay, all right.
Always. Berto here going to raise it up, take the aggressive route with the ace rag here and hijack. Going to go ahead and just take it down chipping up slowly. But you love to see it. You love to see a bunch of folds with the ace 3 offsuit there.
Yeah, that is one of the better feelings in playing the game is just being able to raise with 2 napkins or trash and just get everything without showdown. And that's really the biggest secret to the tournament success is just, I mean, everybody wants their big hands to be paid off, but like if I feel like I'm taking down a lot of pots without having to show down anything, like I got a pretty good shot at winning this. So that's a good spot there for
that's definitely a winning feeling. Definitely. Yeah, it's pretty ideal when you start taking down just the blinds. I remember one time I was in a tournament recently where I was very, very short stacked and I said something along the lines of like, hey, somebody double me up, and then I took down the blinds the next like 6 hands, and I was like, was I complaining earlier?
Yeah.
And here we go, another example of this.
So, carrying on here for Saturday night, we've got our shared dealer between Dallas and Austin, the great Hudson, good friend of ours in Austin. Glad to see he's up there in D-Town. Boy, you guys are doing really well up there. I mean, we've had a busy Friday night last night, but open now 24 hours a day in 24. Dallas, so the action just never stops.
Never stops. We have an action printing machine in the back running full time, my guy.
You're just finding other players to emerge from. They're just like, oh my God, where did you come from? The action machine.
Yeah, they are coming out of the woodwork.
Technology that you can only find in Texas card houses.
State of the art. Nelda now, very, very big stack here on the button. Ace 5 offsuit. In these tournament scenarios, it's pretty natural to defend or rather raise your button very, very wide in the instance that the blinds are not going to have much to defend with very often. But Captain Poker elects to ship it in here, 10-9 offsuit over Nelda's button open. Very ambitious, but the button is, especially when they are big stacks, is often going to be opening a lot of hands pre-flop that are dominated in this instance. Nelda taking one last glance and elects to let it go. Captain Poker getting it done there with raw aggression.
Matt Benjamin with a really solid point, maybe some cross promotion. That does sound like a good location to open a Waffle House. We might have to add some extra bathrooms, though.
Yeah, I think so. At least 10 if we open up a Waffle House.
Yeah, I've not quite had the pleasure. I'm a little afraid for my intestines, but as much C4 as I've drank today, maybe might be
a relief.
Yeah, it could possibly be. PM says, hey, Mike, what's going on? As we carry on here into the night, TCH Live, a Saturday edition, the 10K guaranteed tournament with 44K in the prize pool.
12,434 up top, 365 buy-in with one single re-entry. Wow, and Nelda opening up Jack 10 offsuit, getting all the resistance in the world. Captain Poker gonna ship it with the King 9 suited. Unfortunately, Nelda, I think, has a very, very easy fold in my mind. Does like to let it go, but I do like the taking of the aggression route by both players. Sometimes when you raise, you're just going to get a bunch of folds and take down the blinds. It's necessary to do that a lot at the final table. And I like Captain Poker taking advantage of the fact that Nelda's going to be doing that a lot, given her large chip stack.
Yeah, 5-handed, you just gotta have to open it up a little bit. I mean, there is. I mean, I'm trying to recheck the payouts as we go from like 5th to 3rd. Let's see if it's kind of flat. You know, 5th is 3,047, 4th 4,075, 3rd 5,546. So yeah, there's kind of a sweet spot within that to try to attack a little bit and also preserve her stack. And Captain Poker electing for the aggro line here in the cutoff, going to shove for 650K.
Taking down more blinds.
Yeah.
Chipping up the hard way, but sometimes it's necessary. As Captain Poker is showing us here in full force, he is still got a very playable stack just because of his aggressive lines thus far, and I think that is great.
PM in the chat saying I'll be there tomorrow for the $135 tournament. Excellent.
Appreciate it, sir. Happy to see you here.
Yeah, it's one of the chatters that followed our live stream for a long time, and it was like there were so many folks that are like, "When is TCH Dallas open? When is it going to open? Is it going to open yet? When is the live stream?" So, like, I'm really just happy for those folks that waited so patiently for this to come to fruition. Getting to enjoy everything that the room has been able to offer to the Dallas area and this live stream for real, which has been something else for folks like myself to just be able to enjoy. And we got another hand going without showdown.
Yep, now we're going to take the walk there. But yeah, I agree that this live stream has opened up a lot of really cool possibilities for everyone here at TCH and all the players as well. We've been getting a lot of positive feedback for it, and we appreciate every last bit of it. If you guys do like the stream here at TCH Dallas and in Austin, go ahead and do us a favor, hit that like button, click the subscribe. You'll get all the live high stakes cash game poker content you could ask for, and all the live tournament game action you could also ask for, as well as you are seeing right here at TCH Live in Dallas on a Saturday night.
Lines 15,000, 30,000 with the 30,000 big blind ante, so effectively 75K in the middle before the action starts. And Victor F here on the button, pretty standard, is just going to be able to grab himself 75K in tournament chips.
Yep, he is the chip lead right now, lead going even further now, opening up on the button a little, pretty standardly, I think, with the Jack 9 suited there. I think that's good. You don't hate to see a bunch of folds whenever you open up with a weaker hand like that. Yeah,
I mean, for the button, I look at that and go, I have a monster here. Jack 9 of hearts. I feel like I have aces in that spot. Like, come on, let's play post.
But let's do something with it. Yeah, that's a good hand. It's definitely very playable post flop, for sure.
Yes, and great here in one of those pukey spots where it's all in. It's very tough to just like min raise the spot and feel like, okay, well, what I have behind, do I have enough to go to war with? This is going to draw a fold from Nelda with the blinds going around, and Umberto. No shark in sight though, as not the Humberto, is Gray going to take one down without showdown Queen 10, rips it, and gets to buy himself around here.
Yeah, I'm liking a lot of the aggression that I'm seeing here on this final table. It's been in the past couple of months, weeks, etc., that a lot of time we don't see this level of play from some of the people that make the final table. Some people they start to knit it up a little, they start to tighten up a little bit, but it's really good to sometimes you just got to get it in there light and hope for the best in these tournament spots, especially when you are sitting as one of the shorter stacks. You can't sit there and fold your way into first place. So you got to start getting it in with some queen high, jack high hands, even though it's not always ideal.
Yeah, it was just above a 10 big blind shove, so it's 5-handed. That's kind of on the edge. Like, I think that's probably a rip with his what he's got.
Yeah, I agree.
Nelda now here with a decision, late position with pocket 7. It's another gross spot that you have to find yourself in tournaments where you kind of turn your hand face up to a degree, because
A little bit.
every late position call off an open in this spot tends to be represented by those mid pairs, unsuited Broadway combos, ace X, and see if Victor navigates this post flop.
Ooh, wow. What a flop. Very advantageous for Mr. Victor. Very strong range advantage here. Got a lot of backdoor equity and does elect on a continue, which I like. Nelda, horrible spot to be in with 2 sevens. Even though she's got the best hand by a mile, does
Right.
does have to let it go in this spot.
Yeah, it is. You know, whoever breathes on it first, and that kind of becomes some of the secret success tournaments, is try to pin your opponent on a hand range. And you know, it would be a really gross feeling if all of a sudden you get floated in that spot and then going, what the hell do I do now with this hand? And
right, if you don't pick up anything on the turn, yeah, it's a pretty rough spot to be in. I think if Zelda did float once, then Victor's gonna have to give up on a lot of turn cards, because you know your ace high is just not good a lot of the time, and Nelda is one of the stacks that he is not looking to stack off with. So at this stage in the final table, Nelda now waking up queen jack suited under the gun, very natural open, I think, especially given the big stack. In fact, elects on a flat call, which in my mind is really not crazy. There's a lot of argument for limping in spots just like this one. You can't get 3-bet too
Bridges
often.
can't have my shoe.
Bridges, you can't have a shoe. It's not okay.
It's, you know, that's one of my no-nos and rules in my house. No chewing on my shoes, but
that's fair.
Yeah, you can't have the shoe. It's not for you.
He's upset about it, my guy.
Yes,
he's not happy.
I took away his toy. It's like having a child that barks very loudly. Kids do that, right?
Yep. Captain Poker with a dominated jack here, but does maintain the betting lead, range advantage, etc. on this board. Very, very dry, I think, is a mandatory continue, and elects on that. Looks like we're going for 135, little under half pot size bet. Nelda in a pretty rough spot. Her queen jack here is going to be good a lot, and you do have a lot of backdoor equity, but to float here is pretty rough. You can't be expecting you're good, even though you are in this exact instance that you're good almost ever. And she does elect on a fold, which maybe is a little bit more of an argument for an aggressive line with a hand as strong as queen jack suited to raise even under the gun. If you do get shoved on by a shorter stack, I think it's a relatively easy fold a lot. But it is nice to still play that hand post flop. Unfortunately, the dominated jack is going to get it done in this instance with the betting lead, which is important to maintain in these final table ladder up scenarios.
JTN here with a $9.99 super chat. Having a dog barking in the background adds an interesting dimension. Fun stream as usual. I think Nelda is going to be as popular as a cult figure as the Call of Duty. TCH local. I put the dog in my lap now, so I've got this about 40-pound pit bull laying on me. Maybe he just wanted hugs. And
he just wanted hugs, my guy.
Yeah, he wanted love from the chat. So here's a hug from the chat, buddy. We all love you.
We love you.
Be stressed.
Oh no!
Don't be stressed.
Gray gonna ship it in. Ace 8 suited here on the button. Not an unconventional ship by any means, given he's short stack. But Humberto unfortunately has 2 kings in this spot. Gray drawing to spades or exactly an ace. We are going to a flop here. No help from the spades. Only got 3 outs. Runner to go. No help on the turn. And Berto gonna take it down with pocket kings, eliminating Gray here on the button. Berto now with a very, very playable stack, $1.3 million, excuse me, million chips.
Yep.
Here at TCH Live in Dallas on the 10K guarantee tournament Saturday, 365 buy-in with a single re-entry. Nice chip up there, ladder up for everybody at the table. You love to see when the short stacks get knocked out and make it easier on everybody else.
Yeah, that's I will say once you have 1.6 million in tournament chips, it does feel like you have $1 million. So
yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes it's when you're running good late in this stage, you feel a little bit invincible, a little bit terrified. Hey, Nick from Yuma in the chat, The Legend of Nelda, Adventures of Link.
Nick from Yuma, my man.
Yes.
Nice to see you in here. I hadn't seen you yet. Mayor of Chatsville, that's for sure. Yeah, I hadn't seen you in here yet, my guy, on the Saturday stream. Appreciate you still making your regular appearance. I like it.
Maybe I have to settle for Czar. Czar, I think, is way cooler title. Anybody can be a mayor, but very few could be a Czar of anything.
Yeah, I agree. Victor here, maybe debating open up the 10-5 offsuit on the button. You can open up your button pretty liberally, being the big stack, putting pressure on the smaller stacks, but there are two relatively strong stacks behind you, and 10-5 offsuit is not going to hold up too often. So I do like the decision to let her go. Yeah. And it looks like Nelda going to limp in, 7-6 offsuit, gets a check from the ace-9. Flop helping nobody. Ace-9 with the best hand right now. I think this is going to be a case of you bet you win. Oh, and then Captain Poker binking a 9 on the turn there. Probably going to put out something small. In fact, though, Nelda seeing the flop check through, gonna start ramping up the aggression, and Captain Poker going nowhere. Nelda, no chance to improve. Ace on the end gives Captain Poker 2 pair. Nelda probably thinks that this is a great card to continue bluffing on. Great card to continue representing. Unfortunately, she is absolutely dominated here. Oh, but she does check, and I like it. And Captain Poker checks it back. Kind of surprising. Wow, I would have expected a little bit of a value bet there on the end, trying to get called by any king, etc.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only, I think, argument you make is that you could sit there and feel like maybe I'm up against some trap hands that might. I agree with you that it seems like from our vantage that there should be some thin value at the very least, even with 2 pair. And I mean, connected but not connected enough that you're like a one-liner or a flush connected, but he may just be protecting his hand if he gets shoved on and feeling like, oh God, am I paying off ace jack? Because I mean, it's what was it? It went check flop, right? And then turn lead. Like turn lead is so random in that spot in position that you're just like, what the hell am I up against? That her hand is still very much mysterious. So like, I kind of understand it, but it's like for us, like, you know, you ask a commentator, you're almost always going to lean like, bet your hand, and it just the situation doesn't quite work out that way.
Yeah, very true. And yeah, if say Nelda decided to get squirrely there, and check raise all in, then ace-9's in a pretty rough spot in that exact scenario. Nelda gonna open it up on the button with the king-9 suited and take it down pre, get some of the chips back that she lost last hand.
Matt Benjamin, I think Nelda's on a bit of tilt. Playing hands that got her into trouble is not a winning strategy. Well, here's the thing: like I had a thought, and then we had a hand develop, but it's like there is some thought to limping ranges, short-handed. That I feel like a lot of times that when you're up against the blinds, they're also taking the path of least resistance. That they're just going to default in a lot of spots to you, then especially boards that are more favorable to limping hands that are connected but not necessarily strong enough to raise. And you know, sometimes if you may decide to limp with like an ace-4 suited, then you get to play that classic game of like, no way, you didn't have an ace, you didn't raise here. And sometimes it works out in that direction. So I got to use my crazy person voice. Michael Young, mask. Well, I mean, it is optional. but it is for folks that are vaccinated for the time being. Staff continue to wear it. So, I mean, that's all I will say. As the good old fashioned mask debate. This has been the last year here, Greg, of
Yeah.
it's I know you get to have as much fun with that as we do, right?
Oh yeah, we
yes,
sure do.
yes. You
And here
share
we-
my pain. That's why you're a friend.
Absolutely. Yeah. We get so many questions about the masks. And yeah, we have loosened the restrictions on it, just as the state of Texas has done so as well. If you are vaccinated, we are taking you on the honor system here. If you're on the if you are vaccinated, you are allowed to come in and play without the mask coverage. That is up to you guys, though we do appreciate you sticking to the honor system. If you haven't been vaccinated, we do ask that you still wear a mask for us. Keep us all nice and safe. Keep the poker environment safe for everybody here at TCH Live in Dallas.
Vaccinated or unvaccinated, you are still allowed to shove 200 big blinds with
That's for sure.
7-5 offsuit. Like that's still
go ahead.
Mask or no mask, you can do that.
Yep, do it when I'm at the table.
Yep. Specifically when Greg's at the table. You're like,
specifically.
Hey, just doing what you asked me here, sir. I'm proud, loyal to the channel. Shove. Okay. All right. Folding around to Victor. Here with the Queen 8 offsuit is going to open.
Does elect on the raise, and I really like. So, oh wow, Nelda just wakes up with a very defensible hand, though. I do love when people start opening up their blinds very liberally, as they should. You only got to get through one player to take down those very
to
very
bring up politics here, Greg. No, I'm just messing with you. You know the rules. Don't talk about it. Okay. All right. No. All right. Curveball here. Queen 8 versus Ace 5 top pair. Actually, 2 pair here for it. Or actually, no, 1 pair here for Nelda, but good enough.
Yep, and she flops absolutely gigantic. Never ever going anywhere in this hand. Top pair with a backdoor spade draw. I think when she's starting to get relatively short stacked, I think she's got to kind of go with this one a lot of the time. Situations don't get too much better than this, especially if you do call down once and then you inevitably end up very, very short stacked. But I don't mind the flat call on the flop by any means. You want to keep your opponent in with a little bit of worse hands. Queen on the turn. Victor now probably thinking he's very comfortable with second pair. Does elect to check it over. Nelda checks it back. Showdown value, weak kicker. Ace on the end. Victor got to be feeling very good about his queens after Nelda checks that turn. Does elect to check over. I think we're going to see a bet, maybe a call from Victor. We shall see what happens, though. Nelda with trips on the end. Counting up her stacks, seeing where she's at. Going to put out a small bet here. Trying to get max value on the end. Looking like 200K. Victor, the big stack. Very rough spot, honestly. But given that Nelda uses this size specific, she's not going to have a ton of bluffs here except exactly a heart draw. So I think you can pretty comfortably get it in with the queen.
Yeah, it is kind of one of those cards that just advantage Nelda all the time because you just can't necessarily, because it's that push and pull, right? It's like, okay, maybe it's less likely has an ace here potentially worth chopping. I mean, I might be more worried about a king, queen, queen, jack combo in that spot, or else it's like you said, very polarized to potentially a flush draw. Maybe some jack tens if you feel like your opponent's really psycho. But yeah, that is a situation for the legend of Nelda. Oh my God, it's a new cult hero to our TCH live chat. Besides Bridges here, who's intervening on a lot of the action. Apologize. He is probably either a pit bull or Staffordshire bull terrier that's a year old and just full of playtime. So my apologies, folks. But the sacrifice we make to entertain our audience here on a Saturday night.
Absolutely.
Because we're here for you. Love you guys.
Victor opening up 2 5s on the button. Going to take it down pre here. 5s, I think, very natural open in lay position when you are one of the big stacks. So I think that's all fine and dandy.
Remember George Carlin and said, well, you always said fine and dandy, but it's never fine or dandy. Like there was never one or the other. I'm fine or I'm feeling quite dandy. Okay, it's 9:53. I've gone off the edge, Greg. You can tell me to leave at any point if you're like, Mike, you're just not making any sense anymore.
No,
What
man,
the hell are you talking about?
You are a welcome addition here.
All right,
TCH Dallas.
fair enough. Like we're gonna have a dealer change. In my mind, I just feel like there should be a bomb pod happening right now, but tournaments, that's not quite going to be the case. All right, we'll shuffle up a new deck. Get about 344 of you joining us here for the Shadowman Tournament Final Table, $365 buy-in, 10K guarantee. We exceeded that 4X. 44K in the prize pool. Well over $12,000 here on the line. Up top, just another Saturday at Texas Card House, Dallas. We welcome you on in. Mike, I'm up with the great Greg Potter. You hear him on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It is, yeah. Hopefully keep more Zooms involved as all of us watching down here in awe. Like, what the hell, man? What's in the water up there in D-Town? Action is what's in there.
I say a pure action juice, my guy. That is what's in.
Yeah, from the action machine that prints at TCH.
Yep.
All right. Race up by Captain Poker here is probably going to get through here, Greg. Looks like.
I'm thinking so. Berto got a face card, not a very strong one in his hand. Got what's called the chalk ton nuts here around the Texas area.
Yes.
Does unfortunately have to lay it down, even though we all know it was coming runner, Jack Deuce Deuce.
Yeah, we talk about it in our stream. Is there an origin story that you're aware of?
No
to the chalked on nuts, because it is still something of curiosity that I hear all the time, but I'm like, there's got to be a story somewhere. If a chat pro knows it, now's your time to shine.
Yeah, I've heard whispers. Somebody won a big one with Jack Deuce soft suit. Became a big deal. I don't know the details.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. It's very rarely like some guy loses his ass and then it becomes a hand immortalized forever. There's a shove by Cap 10 Poker. It is going to get through, it looks like. There's no hands in the blinds. Now, as you see up there, a bad beat jackpot. Up to $44,000 throughout our club and continuing to climb each and every week. And that goes not just to Dallas, to Austin, to Houston, to Rio Grande Valley. Join us for more tournament final table action tomorrow with WPT steps to our monthly main event. The 20K guarantee prize pool should be a lot on the line. The right to move on to steps 3. Can this say Austin, Houston, to Rio Grande Valley promotion? Terms of the conditions may apply. That's my end of commercial disclaimer voice. The Dude Talk with Greg Potter. I think Greg stepping away momentarily. You're also hearing my good friend Bridges, my girlfriend's dog, here hanging out within my apartment the first time. And
welcome
he's
addition.
Our color commentator, and he's been very, very, very vocal about some of the plays here tonight. I mean, you can't understand it, but he's like, why are they not 3-betting more? Why is there not more shoves? And I'm like, boy, you really love aggression. But okay,
he's calling for all the aggression. Berto, King 9 offsuit under the gun. 4-handed. I think you can maybe open this up sometimes, especially being so deep stacked, but it's fine to just fold. Nelda, another very playable hand here in the small blind. Wonder if she's going to go for the limp or the raise. I think either in this exact spot are just fine. Does elect on a limp. Cap 10 Poker. Going to go ahead and check it back. 2 unknown cards per the moment. 5-3 suited. Very dominated in this exact instance.
But it's a battle of 2 very pretty hands. They're just so beautiful, Greg.
Oh, wow. And 5-3 way out flops in terms of the club draws. Captain Poker ships it.
Oh, no.
Straight ships it over Nelda, who flops bottom pair. My goodness. Wow. What a shove here by Captain Poker.
Wow.
He says, let's play for all of it with the 5 high flush draw. What an aggressive line there. I like it a lot. Gets the best hand to fold. Man,
Yeah, I
what
mean,
a play there.
yeah, I mean, you're just sitting there with the 6, just feeling absolutely gross because, I mean, even if you perceive your opponent to be on a flush draw or some kind of draw hand, like you just, you're rarely ever just going to have your opponent dominated for all the chips. So it's a well-timed shove that works out well for being up against 6 high in that spot. I mean, our pair of 6s with a 5. At barrage, Mike, he sounds rough. Yeah, he wants some attention, and it's a battle we all face. The chat pros we love, the hounds we love, and I'm here to try to be the best of both worlds. Okay, Captain 10, poker, the small blind, raise bull with a 9-8, and Umberto just gets to
Gonna
just
wake it
call.
up. Waking on up here with the big slick. Gonna ship it in right over the blind open. And Captain Poker has a very natural fold there. Kind of played as it was. Berto shows it, says, I ain't bluffing you, my man. I just got the pre-flop nuts, essentially.
Yeah, there's always becomes this debate too of like, should you show a hand? And sometimes if whatever I'm conveying, I'm trying to use later, keeping in mind that I have showed this information. So it's like, if I'm not going to show a hand, then I'm going to try to use my style in such a way that if I'm a little more mysterious, then I'm kind of able to weave back and forth between aggressive and passiveness. And if I'm showing a lot, then I'm going to try to be as straightforward as possible in these spots. And Cap 10 poker here with the 9ers.
2 9s, very, very premium hand on a final table. Humberto, small blind, 10-9 suited. Alex on a fold. Actually, a very great, in my mind, that's a great fold. You're playing out of position. You don't really have a hand to shove with, especially being so deep stacked. And you really don't like it when you do get called in that instance. And you don't want to see a flop out of position as well. So I think that's a very disciplined fold.
Yeah, the King 3, like four-handed, becomes an almost playable spot because now it's just, again, you're going to see a pretty high frequency of raising just in first act and button. Like it's just, oh, wow, 8s, 9s, and 8s. Maybe we'll just work our way down to 7s here the next hand. Oh, and the Judies, the jacks for Humberto. Get your popcorn ready.
We might see some stacks fly. We might see a ladder up here for one of these two players. Both very premium hands in a final table setting. Humberto going to 3-bet it up, 3x here with the pocket jacks. When you have 8s here, you're not loving the situation too often, but he does elect on a flat call. Going to see a flop. They're both deep enough. I think this is fine. Maybe given that
do you really want to fold 8s in this spot, four-handed?
Yeah,
like 10-handed, yeah,
definitely
sure,
not.
9-handed, whatever. But four-handed, you got to play your hand.
Ooh, very innocuous flop for both players. Check, check on the flop. 3 on the end. 8s probably feel pretty good about themselves right now. 800K in the middle. Likes to check it over. Berto with the snap check back. Snapped it so fast.
Yep.
And that card's going to kill all the action. Berto picking it up with 2 jacks there. Grinding his way up.
Alec Torelli's hitting chips that agreed, Mikey. I do the same, but do you see the greats never ever showing really? So it makes me second guess if showing is ever right. Well, I think it's also when you're to that status, like you're already dealing with whatever your opponent's preconceived notions in their mind. That it was a stretch for a while. If you were a name pro, you were just sitting there feeling like everybody's going to try to make a move on me. So like, why do I need to do anything when I can just get most of the field to try to bluff me because I'm a WSOP bracelet winner or something like that. So it's a different duality being a normal schmuck like us and, being Phil Hellmuth or Phil Ivey to a degree where it's like showing even probably less advantageous, but you know, Phil's probably gonna give you a speech after the fact, and I
Of
probably
course.
won't.
Here we go. Berto, open it up. The fours under the gun. Not crazy to limp in this exact spot, but you do want to apply some pressure with the big stack. Ace 10. Pure flip here. We got going.
What's our board here? Scanning.
Gutter ball. Captain 10 poker. Berto. Pocket fours. Very natural continue with a range advantage. And it is likely that his hand is the best one right now. Cap 10 poker going nowhere. Ace high and a gutty. Wow. Here we go. These two at it again. Let's see what the turn brings us. 480 in the middle. 6 brick on the turn helps neither player. Check, check. And another brick on the end. It looks like Berto.
Oh, wow. Ace high
Wow.
gonna be good.
Ace gonna get there when the board pairs. What a sick, sick run out there for Humberto. Man, that is unfortunate. Losing that spectacularly with the board double pairing runner.
That's such a gross spot, and it's like even such a lower frequency play when you see somebody say like pocket threes, pocket fours, pocket fives, the board comes out and then has to kind of force to turn their hand into a bluff, and it's just most players by that point just don't have the gusto to do it, because just how often you get looked up by ace high now is almost automatic. Even the big cash games, it just becomes pair board. I got an ace.
Yep.
Like it's just I'm going to be banking on some chops and some bluffs. For
sure.
Cap 10 poker. Getting it.
Staying alive, man. Staying alive. Taking some chips off of one of the bigger stacks here, four-handed. We got Joe in the booth now, box, excuse me. Got Joe in the box. Love to see some of our other dealers get in there and mix it up with us.
Hell yes, plus. Hey, we got 69 likes here currently. Nice.
Let's do a little more. Nice. I know we can do a little more than that. There are.
Yeah, I know.
There are over 300 of you here in the chat. I know that I know we can get at least half of you to hit the like button. Do us a favor. Hit that like button. Click subscribe. Yeah. Costs you nothing. Means the world to me and Mr. Youngblood here.
I really do sleep better when people are hitting the like button. Like my propensity to be able to relax is directly correlated to our like ratio to viewers. So, you know, really think about our supporting mental health and good causes. Clearly I'm joking, but
yeah, but no, for the mental health of the commentators here, hit that like button. You guys want to keep us sharp. Otherwise, we're gonna have some very poor
and it's good for the chat pros too. Like if you're watching the show and you're like, wow, we got 200 likes here. I'm really watching some great content. Like it's momentum and action on a Saturday night. Those the Zoom edition. Are you at like home right now, or are you in an undisclosed location?
I am in a disclosed location at TCHLive here in the booth in the back.
Oh, you're actually okay. You're back. You're actually.
I am
in
at
the
work.
Thick of it.
Yes, I am. All right, here we go. Captain Poker shipping it in. King Jack offsuit when Nelda opens it up. The Queen 8 under the gun. Nelda getting punished for the light open there.
And this is definitely the time where you start to see a lot of raise folds. So, you know, when you do get a little bit of post flop play, it kind of perks your ears up because. You can see some of the rates that you see online, and maybe you might even see Craig, Ben, and I, because I have been told unofficially that all commentators are getting all exclusive. I mean, I mean, maybe this is a false rumor, but
hey, I'll take those all day. That sounds awesome to me.
We're speaking it into existence. We're just going to pressure Ryan to the point that's like, yeah, we're all going, right?
Yeah, we're going, right? They're asking for it. The people want it. The people want us on the boat.
The people want to meet Greg Potter. The people want to meet the dude talking. The people want to meet Aaron McAvoy. They want to meet Ben Kirby. They want to meet Maddie Mem.
Wow, Nelda here with the dominated queen.
Ooh.
Berto drawing to exactly runner, queen to a chop with 2%. Nelda checks it over. Berto gonna hang himself a little bit here. Nelda checking her hand, making sure that is in fact an 8 she has. Loving life when you flop trips and your opponent is betting into you. And what do you do here, Mike? Do you flat call or do you ship it in given there's a diamond draw on board?
In this specific spot, I would probably flat from 125. I mean, it's a
Same
little
would
bit tougher because like being out of position allows you the opportunity to potentially check raise a turn because
Right.
if you're expecting frequency, like I'm probably just going for the flat and just living with myself regardless. So we'll see if Umberto will take the bait.
Yeah, I think Berto thinks that, and most of the time this is true. The ace is an excellent hand or excellent card to represent for your hand. Berto going to continue the aggression. 250. Now I think Nelda, in my mind, has a very easy ship it in. Targeting an ace, targeting ace king, targeting a diamond draw. I think this is a very natural all in, but we shall see what she decides to do here. It's not crazy to try and keep your opponent in. With all other bluffs here, you likely have the best hand the vast majority of the time. And maybe if you think a king will not call you, then you can also flat call here pretty profitably as well. Pretty close spot.
Oh yeah, I mean this is it's worked out perfectly because now you're just hoping maybe somebody has ace x of diamond with the ace of diamonds or something like that may decide. I'm going to tag along here with it as you see our payouts again for $4,075. Hey, shout out to our great friend here, Terry Hatcher. The great Terry Hatcher says, ladies from the Women Poker Association are railing. No, the ladies, please press the like, thumbs up button. Former co-worker at TCH Austin, one of the absolute fantastic representatives of the Women's Poker Association, has done commentary on our streams. It's been on final tables on our streams, but relocated to Vegas to be part of the scene there. And I hope your family's doing well. We're praying for you, Terry, and glad to see you here in the chat. We love you and miss you. That was a huge moment here, Greg. Sorry to.
Yeah, it was a pretty big deal. Yeah.
No kidding.
And Victor is just going to ship it in on the button, applying maximum pressure here with the big stack. Going to take down the blinds once again with 8 high. Love to see it.
Wow, we got Epic Dan. Greg changing to my table made me lose kings versus Jack 4 suited all in pre-flop with Jack 4 calling a jam for 200 bigs the other day. So I'm not smashing that like button. Hey. I feel your pain. You know, you're giving out beats enough. Sometimes people want you to go the extra mile to make up for the things that you've had to put people through on the felt. And
you sure do. But that isn't our fault. So you got to hit that like button for us.
Who else's fault? Whose fault could it be?
That is the Jack 4 suited guy's fault. That wasn't us. You got to hit the like button.
It was either the poker gods. I'm trying to see who else can be scapegoat for this. I don't know. But we'll find a scapegoat here before the end of the night.
Yep. Man, Victor just running over the table here, maintaining his chip stack lead, taking down the blinds every hand, shipping it in light, getting 4-handed here. Nice to see the aggression getting ramped up. That's the way you got to do it if you want to maintain your chip stack. Put all the pressure on when you have the advantage to do so.
JTN 1968. What's going on, Joel? I've tossed in a $9.99 super chat. You can hit us up with some love, some super stickers, or super chat as well. Saying King 3 suited. That's a J stack, and the great J stack.
Yeah, Alec Torelli's hidden chips here is so they shipped Captain the pot when he had ace high, the board double paired. Humberto had 2 4s, so his 4s got counterfeited, and he now had 2 pair with 4 high. Yeah, so it was in a pretty unfortunate way for 4s to go down in flames.
It's usually pretty sharp on that side of things, but no, it was not a technical mistake. Oh, look at this. We got a shove by Victor Nelda has him completely covered, but it is a huge raise.
Huge shove. Massive jam here. Nelda in a pretty rough spot, actually. Ace 9 going to be the best hand a lot of the time. Knows she's been seeing Victor play aggressively, but man, does the aggression work out. Victor going to take down even more of the blinds here from the big blind. Just taking them down pre-flop, chipping up steadily. That's what you love to see at a final table.
I think the CBD kicking on in here for our lovely boy Bridges. He's sleeping comfortably. So that's our 10-12 doggo update here at TCH Live as we love to see sleepy, happy doggos. And you can follow us, TCH.Dallas on Instagram, TCH.ATX on our Austin location, our main account at Texas Card House. And, well, hey, show us some love there. Your number one source to get information. Also check out our website, TexasCardHouse.com. Also on Poker Atlas. So if you're trying to get on wait lists, and you can see there on the bottom of the screen. And also if you're interested in playing those cash games as well, email Dallas Dallas at TexasCardHouse.com. Ours is TCHLive list at TexasCardHouse.com in Austin. So either way, you can't go wrong, right?
Right. What do you think of these massive ships by Victor here in the blinds? It's pretty big all ins facing with the with the pretty reasonable stack on your left.
Yeah, the ace 9 or the ace 7 shove, I think, makes a fair amount of sense. Like,
I like that one.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that was pretty sound. While I was rambling about all sorts of nonsense, I'm gonna have to replay what the heck did he just rip in there? We don't even know.
Yeah, we didn't need to see his hand, but he was in the blinds, and regardless of his hand, open ripping there when you're facing the big stack on your left, I think is, in my mind, risking a lot to gain a little in that exact scenario.
You know, it's just fun. It's fun to shove, man. It
sure is
fun to do it until it doesn't work the next time. We got a turn straight draw here for Captain Poker Nelda with not much of a part of it. Checky.
Picks up a pair. Picks up the 6 on the end. This is actually not the worst card for Nelda to begin bluffing. She doesn't contain any blockers, but given that this is checked through twice, it's pretty unlikely your opponent's going to have much to call with. And it does, in fact, get through with Captain Poker snap folding the 6 there on the end.
Yeah, you're 100% right there. With no action being taken on the first 2 streets, like, she can represent literally anything. Like, it's totally plausible for have a deuce or 7. So it just becomes kind of a grimy spot there with what's like second or third pair on that board on 4-liners. So
yeah,
that's a tough one there. But let's see, I or LS easier to shove than play post flop with 20 bigs. Push and fold ICM are probably similar.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I wouldn't argue with that line of thought. Holy shit, I didn't disagree with the chat pro. We might have to get music for that.
Wow. Captain Poker shipping in here, pocket 3s, Berto folding, and Captain Poker going to show the 3s.
3s, breakup, saying 4-handed is way easier than 7 or 8-handed when shoving. Oh, yeah. That's
for sure.
Way less of the field to have to push yourself through. So it becomes a play with a greater level of frequency that probably works for the positive. So, wow, we're agreeing with the chat pros tonight. There must be something. Is the moon doing something weird, Greg?
It might be.
It's always the moon. The moon is always doing something to change her behavior. That's just what every girl on Instagram says. I'm a Leo. It's like, all right, well, you know, have fun with that. I'm not here to disagree with astrology, but it's also one you kind of back away slowly from. Yep.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep. Okay. All right.
And Vic gonna take it down here with the ace high pre-flop.
Pretty standard is okay. What blinds are 25-50 with the 50K big blind Annie? You guys can't see it, but I'm doing a dab right now. So dog is chilling. Hell yes, that makes me a happy guy. So Matt Benjamin saying there was an eclipse the other night. Well, there you go. That's what happened. Chat pros aligned with the moon, and we hope you're aligned with that like button as well. 96 of you smashing it for us. Keep pushing on through to the other side. We got a Humberto shove for 525K. 10 big blind shove. Victor here now with the chance to, with just under half his chips to call this. Was like probably like 30% of his chips to call.
Yeah, this is a pretty rough spot to be in. Victor, man, he's got an opportunity here to knock out one of the shorter stacks and ladder up, but is it worth it to get it in with the King Jack offsuit? Pretty rough spot here. Berto?
Or as the great goes all in, we call it the great goes all in, the Jack King offsuit. Boy, they're never going to let me back on this channel ever again. They're just like, Mike, that's the last time. All right, Jack King off here for Victor, going to fold out of the small blind.
Which I actually like the fold there. King Jack offsuit, not going to hold up against any ace-x hand too often. So even though you are live a lot of the time, pretty rough to call the ship there, even if you are one of the larger stacks at the table.
I think 7 blinds, maybe 6 blinds or less shove. I think that becomes a little bit more palatable, but
yeah,
10 big blind shove, it's just this sort of like every once in a while you'll be dominating another king, but it's just a low percentage of the time that it's a decent hand for four-handed, but just like what Tony G said, he doesn't deserve any applause. He called with King Jack. I love that soundbite. Every time I hear it, I never get sick of it. And that was like at least 15 years ago. Bring on the Russians. Bring on the Russians.
Bring them on.
No, I don't want to bring on the Russians. No, that's that Euro, Russian, like, no, thank you. Too cutthroat and good. Greg sounds like he does.
Berto opening up 10-9.
Go ahead.
10-9 suited here under the gun. Captain Poker gonna flat call, see a flop here, even out of position. I think this is fine. Actually, given that Berto is kind of short, I don't know, that's a pretty close spot. Honestly, in my mind, you could ship it or call here, or honestly, all of the options are available. Doesn't matter now though. There's a flush draw on the board. Captain Poker with top pair. Berto are gonna keep betting. A ship and a snap call by Humberto. We got very, very live cards here going to a run out. Spikes a queen in the end. No help. No help to the flush draw. 10 high, not going to do it. Ace 5 going to take out Humberto, bringing us down to three-handed. Good run. Mr. Humberto eliminated in 4th place. Not a bad day of poker.
No
$4,075 coming your way, my guy.
$365 buy-in with a single re-entry. So, I mean, the most you could be in for is what, like 720 some bucks or so, which,
yep.
I mean, that is a decent payoff to get here to the final 3 as Alex Torelli's hidden chips. And I'm going to pull up the TCH with an Adidas tracksuit on and some Stoli. Probably will have the mandatory backpack as well, as all pros carry backpacks. It's also
mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory. You have to. It's literally in the code of ethics that a backpack must be included if you're a real pro. I didn't make up the rules here, Greg. That's all right. Three-handed ace-10 shove by Captain Poker, who has had quite a roller coaster of a final table.
Yeah, a little bit.
Up, down, all the way around. And able to get that one through with no action. Ruth Hall, I'm sorry, did I in here in the chat, Nick from Umis and Ruth Hall are just getting shout out to great Ruth Hall. Austin Regular, big part of women's poker. Hello, ma'am. Glad to see you here.
Glad to see you tuning in. Everybody's sitting pretty short stacked now at this final table. Everybody less than 20 big blinds, it looks like. or roughly thereabouts. Everybody with kind of middling stacks now. Captain Poker taking the lead after that nice last double up, or rather almost near pure double up through Berto. Heads up flop, we're going. We got one of the hands with a gutter ball with Nelda and an overcard. Victor, 2 mystery cards. We've been having a little bit of trouble with the reader there in seat.
He's just in crush mode. He's too caught up in crush mode right now to worry about scanning his cards. He's like, I'm ready to just push the issue that as a man focused, hooded, masked, and taking down pots is Alex Torelli sitting chips. I'm not going to do the backpack, but I will do the European small pouch, but not the one so close to the body. Ed Barrage, Gregor Mike's TCH sell backpacks. Boy, that is an untapped market that perhaps we could get into. The TCH backpack, the Pro Pack, the spot for your water bottle. Like, we should be able to customize this specifically for poker pros, because there's probably some interesting methods you could do to protect yourself from money and all that good stuff. David Brossett, do they chop often? I can't say for Dallas. Sometimes in Austin, it's kind of like 50%, I think, once we get to some of these late stages, but
that's about right, 50%. A lot of times what you'll see is they'll agree to a chop to a certain extent and then play for the rest. Like, they'll chop, 75% of the remaining prize pool and then play for the last little bit.
So I like that a little bit more than just stopping the tournament. I agree. I still think as a tournament player, you still should be finding moments where you're figuring out how to play heads up, where you're even heads up with 20 big blinds or less still has some level of sophistication and maneuverability that you have to understand, I think, as a player. But
yeah, I agree.
Once you get to this stage and everybody's looking at the money, like, hey, you don't fault people for not wanting to necessarily take the variance. So I think the perfect world is leave a little bit on top, and then if you really must insist, setting some aside. Here we go. Alex Torelli chips says TCH Chat Pro bag, the perfect Chat Pro bag that has ever been existed. All right, we have got Nelda on the button, King Deuce off. These always reminded me when you watch those old World Poker Tours and you have Mike Sexton and Vince Patton, and you get these junky hands three ways that were always really entertaining to watch on the old WPT. Wow. Ace 9, 3, 2 clubs, only backdoors for Nelda. Gonna continue. King turns up, so 7's turned to freaking dust here, Craig. Just dust. Captain Poker may still feel pretty strong about his hand, though, as it's like, okay, there's probably no chance.
Yeah, it's looking like it's Nelda now, club blocker, and second pair, I think, has got a pretty natural continue here a lot of the time.
Quick call for 175. Niner on the end, so.
Yep, going to give Nelda the check mark there. I think it's going to go, oh, wow. And Captain Poker going to continue the aggression here, representing an ace. Think he's turning his 7s into a bluff. I don't think this is for value.
David Smith saying Sexton pure class, rest in peace. Agreed. We all miss him, and that's why I give a little homage to the end of some of our shows. Nelda gonna pick it right off. A pick 6, taking it right here to the end zone with a call down with King High.
Wow, that's
doing
insane.
The Dion strut into the way into the end zone here with the King High call. Oh, great night here on TCH. I mean, I guess from Captain Poker's perspective that he feels like he could be representing a lot of ace-X, because against the pre-flop raise, like, your natural inclination is to be able to check over to the razor. Then, he is banking on a number of times that the call not necessarily doesn't represent a king or an ace, but a lot of draws or more marginal hands that he could potentially blast off. So I think that was probably his line of thought. But sometimes even after 10 hours of play, who knows if who knows what anyone's thinking at this point. We've got a $1.4 million shove here, Greg. Let's do it.
Yeah, the endurance factor in these tournaments is definitely real.
Oh,
Captain
no.
Poker getting in there, shoving it in. Melda, very playable stack. Dominated ace right now. Excuse me, dominating ace to Captain Poker's very close spot here. Could kind of go either way in these final table scenarios.
Three-handed, I feel like this is much more of an auto call, but it is for a lot of chips. Nelda would be left with 400K back with the small blind approaching. So, you understand taking your time in these decisions to think this through as to sizing up what kind of raises could be. Is this some kind of pairs? Is a random 2x card? I think the solver is always going to say call, but it is one for the massive bet size that Nelda is going to avoid the variance in this and lay it down. A little surprised, but
yeah, it's hard. It's hard to call there. Hard to call there sometimes when there's so many ladders on the line. She just got a big stack. She doesn't want to stack off with it just yet. So
yeah, it's for 25, 50K for 1.4. That's what, like a 22. I mean, how many big blind shove is that relative to 1.4 to 50? I mean, it's a lot of cheddar being pushed right there, man. Victor probably with a shove in hand himself, ace-7 off the ace of spades, rips it. And this just could be all in her full time.
yeah, I think we're getting to that point in the tournament where we are pretty much all in or fold. Everybody's pretty short stacked. There's only 3 players left. Ranges are going to be very, very wide. And there are plenty of ICM ladder up implications as well to apply pressure. So everybody needs to start getting it in pretty light. Otherwise, those blinds are going to catch up with you.
That they will. So breakup says call and shove range will differ a lot at M of 15 to 20. That's really sound point, because you get an M under 10 and all of a sudden things get a little bit more desperate. But once you get to 20s, you get put in these weird spots. We're going to be a little bit more selective. As a shove by Captain Poker with ace jack off is going to get through, and no hit by Victor.
Yeah, we're in a pretty unique situation actually, where everybody at the final table kind of has similar stacks as well. So it's kind of hard to justify calling off a little bit lighter as well, given that the ICM implications are very strong on everybody here, given that they all have equal stacks. You don't want to be in these positions at a final table. You don't want to lose big when you still have a very playable stack when you've run this deep.
Choctaw nuts here for Victor. Surprised it's not ripping. I mean, do the solvers account for the Choctaw nuts value being real? Like, I don't think computers really understand the mystique. That's the one thing in the next jump in AI, Greg, is that AI is going to be able to detect human mystique. It's going to take a while, but then that should balance out some of these solvers that, I'm sorry, just a little nerd. There's too many nerds out here in poker sometimes. We're going to lose half our audience here, I think, because deuce turns for Victor. I'm clearly joking, by the way, but deuce turns. We'll see if he tries to go ahead and take a lead at it.
And he does. Which I actually like. A pair is going to be good the vast majority of the time on this board. So I do like, I think that was very much a value bet, and I like it a lot. Protection as well.
Racer Nerd here in the chat. Well, look what's going on over here at TCH. Welcome, brother. Mike Gemblet, dude, talking. Dude, I did 2 softball regional finals to go to the state tournament with the #1 team in the country. Roasted to the sun. Cooper, super producer Cooper, was like, hey, do you want to come join the final table? And I'm like sweating to death. I'm dead tired. I'm like, yes, I will. We will find a way to do this. So C4. And
yeah, we're happy to have your sweaty self here.
Well, I mean, I was able to come home and cool off, but That's a stash IPA and a C4 tonight, or make me pretty lit here, Greg. So at least I hope I'm a welcome addition as the Jack King off for Victor.
Yeah, on the button here, three-handed. I think this is a pretty easy opener shove spot. I think it's a pretty clear shove in my mind. But he does elect on just a open.
Nelda with the potential reshoves. I mean,
ooh, this is going to be close. Yeah, I think given that you have a suited ace, you can't reasonably fold. It sucks to call out of position. But do you really want to risk your entire tournament life on just ace-6 suited? And wow, we're going three ways here. What an interesting development.
Big flop.
Give me a king, 6-5, two club flop. Not quite.
What a brick of a board. That's a big womp moment right now. That dealer should be fired. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, he should be getting it right. Does he not know that chat pros have something to look forward to? Okay, a bet of 275.
Yeah, we need action. We need action flops every hand. Come on, Josh. What are you doing?
Yeah, no kidding.
Joe, sorry.
There are some people who really do believe like they win and lose with certain dealers, and I kind of felt into that trap there for a while. Like if I pushed into the box and somebody hasn't won a hand with me for like a month, like you could just see part of their soul deteriorate. There are a couple of players that for that me at Austin, and they've not gone on the upswing, but I don't know if anybody, there's probably nobody that dreads having you at the table, Greg. They're probably like, Greg from the poker show. Hey, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I do get that a lot, but I also get there are a couple players here like, when are you leaving? When's your down? When are you getting pushed? That's always just a lovely thing to hear when you're in the box.
It is you learn to have thick skin as a dealer sometimes and realize people are kind of joshing at ace deuce. Yeah, it's also that part as a dealer too, because people want to talk to you about the show. I don't know if you've encountered that they're just gonna want to understand what you're dealing with, or what did you think about this show, and they're also like, I got a job to do. Next action. I mean, that's my dealer voice. So okay, trip aces here for Nelda.
Trip aces again, running good at the final table. Does like to check it back. I actually love the check here.
Yep.
Wow. Spike an 8 on the turn. Victor's got to be feeling really good about that card. Elects to lead out here. Nelda, I don't think she should do anything other than flat call. You got a club blocker, so you're not too worried three-handed about the clubs coming out. 10 on the end. No help to anyone. Victor probably still thinking his 8 is good here a lot. Does have showdown value, though. Elects to check it over to Nelda, who I think very mandatorily has a bet here with the ace. Could or could not get called by the 8 here for Mr. Victor. Either way, I don't think either play is crazy. Nelda going for some value here, some very slim value.
I think
Victor in a really rough spot.
Yeah, half pot. And this looks suspicious here after a check back, because it's more reasonable to assume.
I agree.
That, and see if Victor can sniff this out, because it's just like, multi-way or 5 or 6 or 7-handed. Like you can totally talk yourself into a player has missed their hand, where 3-handed it's just going to be so much more leaning towards trap range. A good fold by Victor. That is just not an easy lay down to make there in that spot. And he could also be concerned maybe the 10 pairs up on so many 10x clubs that could potentially be in the mix. So solid fold by Victor.
Yeah, I think that was a good fold and the right fold the majority of the time. Your opponent has almost no bluffs there, and you don't even beat a lot of 8x hands as well.
Yeah, at best you're maybe chopping on some of them as on that run out. As cap 10 poker, we've seen a lot of heavy shoves, and the Queen Dewey probably not going to be looking up the action anytime soon. I wish you guys could see it. Now the dog that was so barky is now laying out peacefully and comfortably, sleeping like a very good boy. So apologies to the folks that tuned in earlier. Got the wrath of Bridges and his chat proness and chat barkiness, the dude barking on the rail. But Mike Kimmler, Craig Potter, thank you for joining us, TCH Live. We'll continue to pile on viewers. Make sure to hit the like button on your way in. 115 and counting. Be a part of the TCH Live army of likers. Pump the good word of TCH Live throughout the YouTube streets.
Yeah, do us a favor, guys. It doesn't make much difference to you guys, but it means the world to us.
You're going to be so powered up after dude. So we've got the dude talking. This is my patented hand here, Greg. 10-8 of clubs, my hand and suit. So Nelda's equity advantage should be much larger, even up against a king 10, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case.
Cap 10. Cap 10 recognizes the situation, a blind v blind battle, opening it up a little light, ships it in light as well. I love the play there. I love it. Very good stuff.
Yeah, and you can make a living off of that if you perceive like your opponent to be opening very wide in some of these three-handed tournament spots too. And you know, King 10's just almost generally smashing a lot of weaker opens for the most part. It does get very sick when you get called by ace. That's just generally what happens to me, but nonetheless. Hey, Jai Painter, let's go. Watching from Australia, probably dodging fucking kangaroos and giant spiders. Love the content. Keep it up. Gary Wilder, it's pronounced captain. And we have our chat pro comment of the night, folks. Cap 10. All right. All in yet again, this time with King 10 of hearts. There's Nelda back with the 9-8 offsuit. Is going to take a look at that hand and say, what could have been? What could have been, Greg?
Yeah, it's unfortunate when you open up your button a little lighter, which in these cases, three-handed, you definitely should, and then get shipped on, and you just forced to fold. But if you don't take those spots, I think you're just playing a little too passive in these final table scenarios.
Oh, yeah. You absolutely have to open a little bit wider. And I think the mental side of things is to not take it personally or not get frustrated, not get taken off tilter, because like you should be expecting that you're going to get shoved on in some spots. And, you know, JTN, you just need to teach Bridges to watch the stream intently the way my dog does. I will come back to this because we got kings. We have a real hand here and not going to be a shove. It is going to be 275K open Victor. Oh, if we could get a flop here. Kings, three-handed. Let's do it.
Oh, man. We sure could. And with a hand as strong as kings, when you're three-handed at the final table, it's not crazy to actually just limp in and trap. You're going to get more callers. You can see post-flop for your opponent to catch up a little bit. Unfortunately, this is not one of them. Victor with an overpair and a very low board. Wouldn't be crazy to actually flat here, or excuse me, check back here, given that you have the diamond draw or diamond blocker, excuse me, as well. You have a pretty nutted hand on that board, and gives your opponent all the opportunity they may need to catch up. It kind of sucks when an ace peels off, but
right.
That is a pretty unlikely run out compared to the rest of the deck. And it's even more unlikely that your opponent is also going to have an ace that they didn't elect to bet on that board, as well as call in the small blind. So I think Cap 10 could have maybe gotten a little trappier there, result oriented wise, and
Sure.
maybe picked up some more chips. But I think he played it the more standard way, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's always like anytime somebody takes a trickier line and it works out, or like this guy's a genius. And yeah, I mean that's all you can do sometimes. Just pray you get a little action, and you know that board just not going to do it. As Cap 10 poker facing the 1.2 million shove on the button from Victor F. It's going to have to be
Yep, does elect on the fold.
But I was going to mention here again, JTN says you need to teach Bridges to watch the stream intently the way my dog does. Like, this was literally how I cured my dog of separation anxiety. And I still do this every day. I leave the house for more than 3 hours. Is I will put on a TCH live stream that I know is either 4, 5, 6 to 7 hours. And the guy sleeps very comfortably listening to the show. Like, my dog may be our all-time viewer of our live streams because literally every day he's being treated to the sweet sounds of TCH. And if you'd like to be just as awesome as my doggo, hit subscribe, hit like. That's his next trick he's going to learn for treats, is to paw that like button. All right. That was a long-winded rant there. Greg's sitting back and what the hell is he talking about? I'm kidding.
Nah, man. I love the I love the
I
love the dog. He's the biggest viewer
by yourself, Greg. Like, it's
oh, it sure is. I hear that.
And especially you're a little newer to this, so you learn something each and every time out. So I hope at least for all these streams you come away sitting there thinking like, I learned a little bit more about the game than I did when I started. Because I feel that way literally every time
absolutely.
I do a damn one of these things. Like, oh Jesus, I know nothing. All right.
Oh wow, Victor flopping pretty massive here. Nelda with a gutter ball as well and an overcard. Victor gonna bet his top pair. Nelda doesn't look like she's going anywhere just yet. Alexa on a call. 4 on the turn. Doesn't really help anybody, but definitely makes the board a little bit more scary. Now they're in a pretty rough spot. Only a dry gutter ball and an overcard. Is electing on maybe thinking about a call here. Gotta wonder, how often does your opponent connect with this flop? It's a pretty scary board. He could be taking a stab at it. Does elect on a fold, though. I think that's the right fold the majority of the time.
Yeah, of course. Let's see, Racer Nerd. Mike was not going to do the commentary until it was realized it was material to keep the dog company. Yeah, that's content. Got to pump out content, not for the reasons you think, but just for dog quitty. Not equity, but dog quitty. Peace with the doggos here in this world. So we've had Niquity coined. We're also trying to find a nickname here for Greg Potter. Like, we have to find one. We've got JTN, we got
to find one somewhere.
Like, we've had the dude talking, the dad talking, the Greg talking, G Unit. Like, I'm turning it here to our experts to find a nickname for Greg. Because once you get a nickname, you've made it. Okay. 10-3 versus
let's hear it, guys. What do you guys got?
Come on.
Oh, wow. Probably going to go check with mass majority of the time. Wow. Queen on the turn. Pretty, very, very, very wet board. Nelda drawing to that card, but it is, in fact, a chop. Nelda does like to check it over. Captain Poker checks it back. They're going to chop this one up here. Heads up when the board runs out to a straight to the queen.
Yeah, some players are able to take advantage of that. Some players more likely to check it back. Matt Benjamin asking it, why does it say 5 outs but show 6 cards? When the tracker can account for cards that have either been mocked or shown by another opponent, it is at least going to take into account that they are not available. So I'm probably wrong on this, as I am a number of things. So that's generally the case, is my understanding. But super producer Carolyn usually tells me I'm wrong, and I just accept it. So that's why she's the best. Okay, all right. Cap 10 poker with the king jack off, going to lay it down. or excuse me, shove, and then get the full down to. Okay, JTM with a great question. JTM, we need to know about some quirks, hobbies, unusual facts about you. Give us some info to work with. How old are you, Greg, by the way?
I'm 26. Nothing too
From,
honestly, a lot of my hobbies include poker.
Are you from Dallas? Are you from any place weird? Are you from?
No, I'm from the Dallas area. So
okay,
born and raised, native Dallas Texan.
Dallas, Greg.
I play drums. If that means anything.
Oh yes, now I know why you're a good person. I also a drummer. You do the full kit. You do electronic drums.
Nah, I go the old route, the acoustic kit. I'm a purist.
That's why you're my friend now. I cut my teeth in drums. I was not, I took drum lessons, I was okay at it for the garage band. We got a couple of ladies.
Oh my God. We got Nelda waking up with the queens again, getting raised in the small blind. Victor actually with a suited queen here, fairly playable hand when you're this short. Might see some people stack off here. I would actually really love to see a flat call by Nelda, but she does elect to ship it all in. Victor just gonna fold it on down.
I had the action backwards, so yeah, wow. That's three-handed poker here for you. Breakup Google says, oh my effing God, a 26, a teenager. Yeah, I would love to be 26 again, Greg. Like, I would love to be at her. I'm 35, so like I'm creeping up on 36. Like, my good years are still in front of me, but you get the P word all the time. Potential. You got potential, Greg.
I hope so. That's what people say. I don't know how much I believe it, but we'll see how it goes in the next year or two.
Life is a process, man. This is when all your synapses are firing and learning. And here certainly for our stake in the stream at TCHLive, you continue to define what makes you tick as an ace-3 shove. Here for Captain Poker. Yeah, these chat streets are brutal, man. People can be mean to you. Sometimes they can be great to you. I've seen all kinds of different directions. Never be dismayed. That is the way. And we're always here to support our troops. All right, can't flat this late. Should be min raising. Racer Nurse says 26, you don't even know what a hangover is. 26, you can still know what a real hangover is. Like if you party hard.
I know what a hangover is, my guy. Trust me, I have experienced my fair share of those, even as a ripe young 26-year-old, I guess.
Yeah, it's like we gotta change.
Plenty of those in my past. I have gone to college, so.
Okay, where'd you go to college? Then we could maybe turn this into a bit. Is Victor going to make it through here with King 5?
I went to UNT, University of North Texas, here in Denton.
Mean Green Greg.
And I graduated.
There we go. Green Greg.
Mean Green Greg. I don't like that one. That's not the one.
Like
that ain't
it. Okay.
That ain't it.
That ain't it. It doesn't quite
edit that out?
The tongue quite as easy as well, too. The green talking.
Yeah, we need something.
How about the Greg talking instead of the
Greg talking. Why not? I'd be the Greg talking. I would take that. Or take that over Mean Green Greg.
Green Greg talking. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue. All right, Victor here with a call.
Nelda 4-3 offsuit, very natural check. Gonna go ahead and check it. Go heads up here. Looks like maybe a 4 on the flop. Can't see from this angle just yet.
Yeah, scanning.
No.
I see the cards a little bit better. Like there was a lot of glare before, and I think I must have complained loud enough that they're like, okay, maybe we should fix this. I like to think things work that way, but that's another kidding. As Nelda gonna power her way through. Greg saying he went. Okay, I see you went there. All right. Underage Greg, that's not a good one.
That ain't the one.
Come on. Yeah,
you guys can do
we
better.
have so many experts here that I can't believe we're falling short. Will my faith in the chat pros be tested here tonight? I don't know, Craig. There's a sadness in my heart that we can't find something more creative. GTM says I went to Plano East, but I'm a nice person anyway. LOL. I have to be from Dallas to be able to get that joke. So
Yeah. Plano East. We football, yada yada.
yeah.
Everybody got the rivalries here. I'm not a big football fan. I couldn't really admittedly couldn't care less, but that's I know that'll probably get me.
Yeah, that'll get you booted out of the state. That's a
yeah.
religion here. That's like, what? You don't like high school football? What, are you kind of a weirdo, Greg? Don't you know these kids are going to play in college? Okay. It's my impression of a super high school football fan. Jesse Robinson, home of Marcus Smart. He's actually from Flower Mound.
Yep.
Don't get him mistaken. Marcus Smart was from the streets of Flower Mound, baby.
Yeah, he was from Flower Mound, Texas, but he did go to Marcus High School.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, I thought he went to Flower Mound High School. So like, you didn't go to Marcus? Well, then, yeah.
He's only a year older than me, and I actually got to see him kind of come up
rise?
in the rise there.
I'm envious.
He was a big deal here at Marcus High School. Whenever the basketball games were going on, I was actually in band in high school, and we got to play a lot at his games. It was a lot of fun to do. It was a lot of fun to watch him play.
I would have loved to see what he did in the high, because he's so energetic on the NBA level. This guy lays out his body on the line. He's one of the great stories too of a guy that made something of himself out of just pure grit. And
yep, for real. He lived here in a small suburb in Louisville, and actually I guess it was in the middle of Flower Mound, but one of the like less nicer suburbs, and he kind of clawed his way out of it, made a name for himself, and now he's playing for the Celtics, as I understand.
Yeah, and he's due up for a big deal too. I think he's at the end of like a contract that's somewhere in the 14 million range, and he's made himself a nice career in the NBA.
Yeah.
Not unlike most of our chat pros. All right.
Captain
we got a
Poker
hand here though.
Oh man, Victor likes to fold the threes. I think in a final table scenario, it's not crazy to call off there with any pair. Threes and twos definitely getting in the very bottom. I think you'd rather be the aggressor in those instances, but not crazy to call off, given that you're still probably ahead a lot of the time, even if it is roughly a flip.
Johnny Cook says Greg the Keg, Greg the Grinder.
Greg the Grinder's
an honorable mention. I think it's okay. It's in the step of the right direction. Bandcamp, yeah, I don't know. Oh my God, we've got a show. No, man, wow. There's some kind of mistake here.
Wow, here we go. Shoving it in, 5-3 offsuit on the button, trying to take down the blinds. Victor snap calls it with what looks like, what is that, pocket jacks?
I couldn't see it from the overhand angle. Ask me to scan it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I'm so excited.
Oh man, I haven't seen a real all in thus far. That does look like two jacks to me, but I can't quite tell.
You might have a better angle in the luscious TCHLive Dallas studio. There's two pink cards for sure. We do know it's 5-3, so Captain Poker.
King Jack.
Okay, so it's still live. Two cards here for Captain Poker. 5-3 offsuit, just a desperation shove. He'll have 500K left. And a 5.
Wow, 5. Oh, he's got outs, though. He's got outs, King Jack. Oh, but breaks. And the 5. The 5 is going to take it down, eliminating Victor with the King Jack. Captain Poker, man. What a comeback thus far. He was one of the short stacks when we first sat down all the way to the final two here at TCHLive in Dallas.
Yeah, he was active early. That he had big chips, and then he had a 3-way all-in where he called with Nelda had aces and somebody else had 7s for like a good chunk of his chips. And, a couple of times that he could have been called off and been on the ropes, but he was able to get some hands through that, had gotten folded out. So a remarkable story here to get the heads up. All right, heads up action now as he's got. How many chips does Captain Poker here have at this? Okay, 3.2. He's got a huge advantage in shoving. And they're going to get this one through as Nelda just trying to flop here with 6 high. As we see some adjusted numbers, 9,640 or 664, 8,000. So, like you said, a little foot flatter, but gives them something to play for up top.
Yeah, I think they are indeed chopping for roughly, I think it was 8K each, and then they're going to play it out for the last little bit on top, which in my opinion is the way. If you're gonna chop in a tournament, that's the way to do it. Is chop up some percentage of the prize pool and then play for a little bit on top. And here we go. We're seeing all in.
Oh, this could be
Here
it.
we go. This could be the last hand of the night at the 10K guarantee. 365 buy-in single re-entry tournament that we have every Saturday here at Texas Card House Live in Dallas off of I-35 and 635 on Harry Hines Boulevard. Queen Jack offsuit versus 7-3 offsuit. They are shipping it in, running it out. Very, very live cards here. We could see the finale.
Yeah, the all captain poke, and that probably makes more sense than we've seen loser shoves from him. But with a little bit more flatter payout, you could take a lot more chances. And he has been living dangerously. 5-3 now 7-3 potentially here for the win. Now 7.